As the third-rank ironclad wolf pounced, they all thought I was dead, but the next second, I punched the wolf's head flying into the sky. Everyone was shocked, but I saw the ironclad wolf moving as slowly as a snail. Before the blood hit the ground, I had already charged out. The second one, another flash of blade light and another beast fell. The watching martial artists fell silent, because just yesterday, they had mocked me as a waste with a vitality of 2.8, who could not even crush a stone. Some teachers even advised me not to pursue the martial path, because training further would just be a waste of time. But no one knew that on my 18th birthday, a system exploded in my mind. Ding. Detected that the host has reached the age of 18. The kill and add point system has officially awakened. Opening the novice gift pack. Obtained 3 attribute points. I put the first point into my eyes, and the world in my sight instantly slowed down threefold. The second and third points, I put them all into Thunderblade technique. First rank Thunderblade technique directly advanced. To second rank Galloping Thunderblade technique, blade energy already formed. A second rank martial artist who had once stolen my meal card was so scared his legs gave way. He trembled and said, "Jung Hee, it was a misunderstanding." I pointed the tip of my blade at his nose. "When you stole my meal card yesterday, why did you not say it was a misunderstanding before I even used any force?" He knelt down directly. The people around looked at me like I was a monster. I sheathed my blade and turned around, leaving only one sentence. "From today on, I am in charge of number 6 high school. This is the kill and add point system. The more I kill, the stronger I become." Inside a room, I suddenly opened my eyes wide. At that moment, a voice came from deep in my mind. Detected that the host has reached the age of 18. The kill and add point system has officially awakened. Opening the novice gift pack. Gift pack successfully opened. Obtained 3 attribute points. Do you wish to allocate points? I let out a long breath, unable to suppress my excitement. To be honest, at this moment he was stunned, but quickly snapped out of it. As a veteran online novel reader in his previous life, he was no stranger to systems. Besides, since something as absurd as transmigration had already happened, it was also very reasonable for a system to suddenly appear. It was just that he had waited too long for this day. Ever since coming to this world where martial arts were universal and fierce beasts roamed, he had waited for a full 18 years. During those 18 years, although he had trained hard, his talent was not good, only at the average level of ordinary people. But since he had come to this world, how could he be willing to remain ordinary? Fortunately, the system had arrived. Jung Hee let out a long breath, and then silently opened the system interface in his mind. A virtual panel immediately appeared before his eyes, on which all his physical data were recorded. Name Jung Hee. Rank first rank, martial artist. Vitality value 2.8. Combat power 389. Enhanced body parts none. Martial arts first rank. Basic body tempering art perfected. First rank Great Stelly Fist minor accomplishment. First rank Breeze body technique great accomplishment. First rank Thunderblade technique great accomplishment. Attribute points 3. After reviewing his personal information, the system prompted again that he currently had 3 attribute points and asked whether to allocate them. Please note that attribute points can be allocated to various body parts or martial arts. Can strengthen body parts. Can increase proficiency of martial arts that have not reached perfection. Can break the limit of martial arts that have already reached perfection and advance them to a higher level. Attribute points are obtained by killing enemies, including but not limited to humans and fierce beasts. I see. Having briefly understood the system's functions, Jung Hee narrowed his eyes and directly chose to allocate points. The system asked whether to allocate to body or martial arts. Jung Hee chose body. Compared to allocating to martial arts, Jung Hee was more interested in the body. Allocating to martial arts could increase proficiency, and once perfection was reached, it could advance. Then what would allocating to the body do? When Jung Hee made his choice, the system panel before him changed. On it was a human figure, and each body part had a plus sign, including eyes, skin, limbs, internal organs, and brain. However, some plus signs were grey, clearly indicating that they could not currently be allocated to. Currently, the parts available for allocation were eyes, skin, and limbs. Jung Hee thought for a moment and finally allocated to the eyes. Allocation successful. Consumed 1 attribute point. Eyes strengthened by 1. Eyes 1 greatly enhances dynamic vision. As long as you focus slightly, things in your sight will slow down. Please note that every 10 times a body part is strengthened, a special ability will be awakened. The moment the allocation was made, Jung Hee felt a huge change in his body. His gaze fell on the clock hanging on the wall, and with slight concentration, the second hand slowed down in his eyes. The whole world slowed down, taking about 7 or 8 seconds to advance 1 tick. Eye strengthening increased my reaction speed by at least 3 times, and my vitality value and combat power also increased simultaneously. Seeing this, Jung Hee curled his lips in great excitement. He also understood the main effect of strengthening his eyes once, which was reaction ability. If the world in his eyes became extremely slow, then he could react quickly. In combat with others, this undoubtedly gave him a huge advantage, and he did not have to worry about whether his body's strength could keep up, because the moment his eyes were strengthened, he noticed that his vitality value and combat power had also increased simultaneously. Jung Hee looked at the system panel again, and saw name Jung Hee rank first rank martial artist. Vitality value 7.8. Combat power 1107. In an instant, his vitality value increased by a full 5 points, and his combat power surged by over 700 points. In this world, martial artists mainly cultivated vitality. According to the latest certification from the Great Han Martial Arts Association, martial ranks are divided from 1st rank martial artist to 9th rank martial saint, and vitality value and combat power are the standards for measuring martial rank. Vitality value is easy to understand. It is the amount of vitality a martial artist possesses, and combat power refers to the highest destructive force that a martial artist can unleash based on current vitality value, combined with martial arts and other factors. A vitality value of 1 and combat power of 100 is a 1st rank martial artist. A vitality value of 10 and combat power of 1000 is a 2nd rank martial artist. And so on, a 3rd rank martial artist has vitality of 100. Combat power over 10000, a 4th rank martial artist has vitality of 1000. Combat power over 10000, a 5th rank martial artist has vitality of 100,000. Combat power over 1 million, once reaching 5th rank martial artist. One can rely on physical defense to withstand all technological forces except missiles and nuclear weapons. Above that are 6th rank Grandmaster, 7th rank Great Grandmaster, 8th rank Martial King, 9th rank Martial Saint. 4 months ago, Jung he had passed the 1st rank martial artist certification of the Martial Arts Association and became an official martial artist, with vitality 2.8 and combat power 389. Based on his original strength, he could at most crush a stone. Now, although my vitality value has not yet reached the standard for a 2nd rank martial artist, my combat power has exceeded 1000, enough to contend with a 2nd rank. Jung he clenched his fist, feeling the surging vitality inside him, and could not help but feel joyful and particularly excited. If he followed his own original cultivation talent and trained strictly according to the rules, then in a few decades, he would at most become a 4th rank martial artist. But now, with the system becoming an 8th rank martial king and stepping into the 9th rank martial saint, standing at the top of the world, would no longer be a distant hope. After calming down a bit, Jung he looked at the remaining attribute points. There were still 2 attribute points. He did not plan to continue strengthening his body, but intended to improve his martial arts. Attribute points had to be increased by killing enemies, so the only choice for me at present is to go outside the city to hunt fierce beasts. But in combat, there are many unexpected dangers, so I must improve my offensive methods. Martial arts are divided from 1st rank to 9th rank, and proficiency is further divided into entry, minor, accomplishment, major, accomplishment, perfection. Jung he glanced over the 4 martial arts he possessed. Among them, the 1st rank basic body tempering art was a cultivation method for condensing vitality, which did not help much in combat and could be skipped. As for the 1st rank Great Stelly Fist, it was only at minor accomplishment level. After allocation, it would at most reach perfection, and would not greatly improve strength. In the end, only the major accomplishment level, 1st rank Breeze Body Technique, and 1st rank Thunderblade Technique remained. So allocating all to Thunderblade Technique could advance it to the 2nd rank. Jung he continuously allocated to Thunderblade Technique. Allocation successful, consumed 1 attribute point. 1st rank Thunderblade Technique 1. Proficiency increased to perfection. Allocation successful, consumed 1 attribute point. 1st rank Thunderblade Technique 1, because proficiency was already full successfully. Advanced and evolved into 2nd rank Galloping Thunderblade Technique. 2nd rank Galloping Thunderblade Technique entry. Evolved from 1st rank Thunderblade Technique. This blade technique is sharp, fierce, and swift. If cultivated to minor accomplishment and activated with vitality power, it can unleash Galloping Thunderblade energy. Current allocation costs 10 attribute points. For 2nd rank Galloping Thunderblade Technique, a 2nd rank martial art allocating would require 10 attribute points. Enough for now, Jung he muttered to himself. After successful advancement, some insights about Galloping Thunderblade Technique naturally appeared in his mind. But because the advancement was for a martial art, his vitality value did not increase. However, his combat power increased. Jung he looked at his personal information again. Name Jung he, rank 1st rank martial artist. Vitality value 7.8. Combat power 1500. Enhanced body parts, eyes 1. Martial arts 1st rank basic body tempering art perfected. 1st rank Great Stelly Fist minor accomplishment. 1st rank Breeze Body Technique major accomplishment. 2nd rank Galloping Thunderblade Technique entry attribute points 0. At this point, the attribute points were completely cleared, converted into substantial combat power. Jung he narrowed his eyes. With 1500 combat power, going outside the city to hunt fierce beasts should be enough, right? At 7 o'clock, Jung he got dressed and walked out of his room. His home had 2 bedrooms and a living room. Unlike the typical transmigration novel protagonist, he was a special case with parents but no sister. However, his parents were both professional soldiers in Tianhong City, and they rarely saw each other for days at a time. You could say his parents were busy. After simply preparing and eating breakfast, Jung He picked up the long blade lying on the sofa and walked out. He was currently attending Tianhong City Num 6 Martial Arts High School. Because today happened to be Friday, he planned to go directly out of the city into the wilderness after school in the afternoon to hunt fierce beasts and earn attribute points. Jung He carried his long blade. Due to the universal practice of martial arts, there were many people on the road carrying weapons. In his previous life, they would all have been sent to the police station. On the sidewalk, Jung He activated Breeze body technique and quickly made his way toward the school. After more than 10 minutes, he arrived at number 6 high school and entered class 3 of the 3rd year. Last night, the homeroom teacher had notified that there would be an important announcement today, so most of the students had already arrived. Returning to his seat, Jung He waited quietly. During this time, his desk mate, a girl, kept glancing at him from time to time. "What is it, Jongmei? Do I have something on my face?" Jung He touched his face and asked suspiciously. Jongmei had been his desk mate for a long time, but they did not usually have much interaction. Or rather, he did not have much interaction with any of his classmates. As someone who was over 30 in combined age from his past and present lives, he had no common language with these peers. He truly wondered how those transmigration predecessors of his had managed to develop interest in kids. Jongmei stared blankly at Jung He. Jung He turned his head to look at Jongmei and asked, "What's wrong?" "Nothing, it is just that I feel like after one night, your vitality seems a lot more vigorous." Jongmei replied softly. Jung He was startled upon hearing that. The morning allocation had increased his vitality value several times over, in a situation where no 6 high school students generally had vitality values of 1 to 3. He gave others the impression of having vigorous vitality. But if it were no 1 high school which gathered all the top geniuses of Tianhong City, this problem would not occur. Because the students of number 1 martial arts high school mostly had vitality values above 3, and some even had vitality values exceeding 10, becoming second-rank martial artists. Jang He calmed down. Time passed and it reached 7:35. All the students in the class had arrived. The homeroom teacher of class 7, Feng Qi, walked in. He looked around, and when his gaze fell on Jung He in the middle row, a flash of surprise appeared in his eyes. As the homeroom teacher, Feng Qi was a 3rd rank martial artist about to step into the 4th rank. He naturally noticed Jung He's abnormality. Feng Qi frowned. Jung He's vitality was among the best in class 7, so there was absolutely no problem of unstable vitality. Obviously, there was only one possibility. His vitality value had soared in a short period of time. Shao, his vitality is so vigorous. Could he have taken some tonic pills, blood-increasing pills, or auxiliary powder? His vitality value has increased by at least 2 points, right? While Feng Qi was thinking, the preparatory bell rang. He suppressed his doubts and got down to business. Listen everyone, you have already entered the second half of your 3rd year and are about to face the National College Entrance Examination in 100 days. In order to help the students better understand their own strength, the school will change next Monday's midterm exam on the basis of vitality value testing and combat power testing to add arena combat. At the same time, the school has also applied to the city for 1 youth training camp quota this year. As long as your total score can reach 1st place, you can join the youth training camp for up to 2 months of special training. The youth training camp is initiated by the Dongshan Provincial Military Department and jointly organized with the Dongshan Provincial Martial Arts Association and the Dongshan Provincial Education Bureau. Those who can enter here are the top martial arts prodigies from every city in Dongshan province. In the youth training camp, not only can you receive guidance from powerful martial arts masters, but there are also various advanced training resources not available on the market. Normally, every year Tianhong City gets 10 entrance quotas for the youth training camp, but they are all taken by the geniuses of number 1 martial arts high school, never leaving any for the other 5 high schools. I did not expect that this time the school actually snatched a quota from the tiger's mouth. I wonder what price they paid. A day passed, and Jung He walked out of the school carrying his long blade. On the way out, many students were discussing the youth training camp. I really hope I can enter the youth training camp. Who does not want to once you enter the youth training camp and receive 2 months of resource cultivation? Your strength would improve by a huge margin. Just dreaming, there are so many 3rd-year students competing for this 1 quota. What does it have to do with us? To get this quota from number 1 high school, the school probably bled a lot. Jung He listened to the voices around him. He was also very interested in the youth training camp. With his current strength, he was confident enough to take that quota. But if compared with the people from number 1 high school, his strength level could only be considered mid-tier, not to mention the youth training camp where geniuses gathered. With his current vitality value, he would probably be at the very bottom. He needed to keep improving his strength. Half an hour later, Jung He took a taxi to the outer ring of Tianhong City. Not far ahead were the tall city gates and the city walls that surrounded the entire Tianhong City. The Great Han country had 27 provinces, with a total of 673 cities. Every city was enclosed by grand and tall city walls, and the common people lived safely within them. Beyond the city walls was the wilderness, where all kinds of powerful, fierce beasts lived. It held endless dangers, but also contained great wealth and opportunities. High-grade ores, high-grade herbs, precious teeth and hides from fierce beasts, and flesh containing powerful energy all attracted countless martial artists to venture into the wilderness. This was Zhang, his first time leaving Tianhong City. Around the city walls were places selling various tools and food. He used his only 3,000 yuan of living expenses to buy dry food maps, bandages, tents, and other necessities. As for weapons, he did not need any, because his long blade was a second-rank weapon. Weapons included knives, spears, swords, and halberds. Each type had its own strengths. The saber was the overlord among weapons. Zhang, he had practiced saber techniques for many years, so his weapon was naturally not low grade. The ranking from 1st to 9th rank applied not only to martial artists, but also to fierce beasts' weapons and tonics. His blade was made of 2nd rank azure mystic iron, combined with 2nd rank materials and a small amount of 3rd rank mithril. It was the top tier 2nd rank weapon, capable of easily cutting through iron blocks, and worth over 10,000 yuan. It was a birthday gift from his parents when he turned 15. Zhang He took a deep breath, carrying his long blade and a large backpack, and walked toward the city gate. Just as he reached the gate, he was stopped. Proceed with caution in the wilderness ahead. The guard blocked his way. Zhang, he frowned, slightly confused. Looking at the people traveling in groups around him, he suddenly understood the wilderness was dangerous. Many people formed adventure teams to go out. Solo travelers were relatively rare, let alone a young man like him. I want to go to the wilderness, thank you. Zhang He tried to go around the guard and continue out of the city. Wait, the guard was stunned. He had guarded the city wall for over 20 years, and this was the first time he had seen someone so young going into the wilderness alone without escort. He quickly stopped Zhang He. High school student, which school? No, 6 high school. Zhang He answered. The guard looked at him strangely. You are alone. Are your parents not with you? No. Zhang, he shook his head. Can I go now, thank you? The guard was silent for a few seconds and stepped aside. Zhang He walked through the city gate under the guard's complicated gaze and entered the wilderness. The guards muttered, damn. Kids these days are really brave. A No. 6 student with only 1st rank vitality, daring to go into the wilderness alone. I am almost 3rd rank, and I would not dare to go alone. Forget it, we did what we had to. The rest is none of our business. Past the city gate was the wilderness. The wilderness surrounded every city. Communication and connection between cities could only be done through underground tunnels and the internet. Above ground was the domain of fierce beasts. It was said that 1200 years ago, there were no fierce beasts or martial artists in this world, and only later did the era of martial arts begin. Zhang, he walked through the wilderness gripping his blade tightly, ready to draw it at the slightest rustle, to avoid sudden attacks from fierce beasts. According to the map, about 10 minutes ahead was a forest, where red-tailed giant monkeys lived. Zhang, he used breeze body technique to enter the forest. Soon he felt a dark shadow strike from behind his head. He flicked his hand and the blade left its sheath. Galloping thunder blade technique as fast as a white lightning bolt, slashed directly at the incoming object. With a thud, a small object fell to the ground, followed by a painful howl. Blood splattered onto his clothes. He saw what had attacked him. A 1-meter-long red-tailed monkey clutching a severed arm. A prompt sounded in Zhang He's mind, and the system panel appeared. So there was such a function. He calmly finished off the red-tailed monkey with 1 slash. Each high school arranged fierce beast hunting tests in the first year, so students were already accustomed to killing beasts. So Zhang He felt no discomfort. Killed 1st rank fierce beast. Obtained attribute points 1. First upgrade Galloping Thunderblade technique to minor accomplishment, then allocate points to strengthen the eyes. He set his upgrade order, and wandered through the silent forest. Stepping with breeze body technique and concentrating his mind, things in his sight slowed down. With a raised blade and a drop, another beast fell. Killed 1st rank fierce beast, obtained attribute points 1. Before long, his attribute points accumulated to 10. He opened the martial arts panel and allocated to Galloping Thunderblade technique. Allocation successful, consumed 10 attribute points. 2nd rank Galloping Thunderblade technique proficiency increased to minor accomplishment. Instantly Zhang, his understanding of Galloping Thunderblade technique deepened. As his vitality surged, the long blade was stained with a deep red. With a light swing, a crimson lightning bolt, carrying a piercing thunderclap, howled past. Within a range of 5 meters ahead, large trees and boulders were all cleaved apart by the blade energy. Pretty good power. Zhang He flicked his wrist, very satisfied. Among 2nd rank martial arts, this power was also among the top tier. His combat power increased from 1500 to 1900 points. Next was strengthening the eyes, while Zhang He was enthusiastically killing fierce beasts. 5 kilometers to his west, a group of 5 was advancing. None of them was over 20 years old. 3 men and 2 women held weapons with serious expressions. Ahead is the target location, the Cold Bone Bear. I really cannot understand why a fierce beast from the Bear Country would cross the border and come to the Great Han Country. The world is big and strange things happen a lot. The 3rd ranked fierce beast on the global list, the wine-drinking panda, is clearly a 9th rank beast king that can match martial saints, yet it lives peacefully in the Magic City Zoo. Beasts will never be slaves unless room and board are provided. Zhou Yi Shu Hao, you two quiet down. We are almost there, grip your weapons. The young man walking ahead with a long sword in hand said in a low voice to them. Clearly this young man had the highest status among the 5. His name was Lu Chengqing. He was a 3rd-year student of Tianhong No. 1 High School. With vitality 15 and combat power 2,700, a 2nd rank martial artist. Although the others had lower combat power than him, they were all geniuses around 17 or 18 who had stepped into the second rank. This time they came to the wilderness together, first for training, and second to prepare for the midterm exam and the youth training camp quota. No. One high school also used vitality testing, plus combat power testing, plus arena battles to determine total scores and quotas. The Coldbone Bear excelled in strength and defense, and naturally possessed ice control abilities. Its weakness was its large size and slow speed. After we encounter it, I will draw its attention, and you spread out to attack. If anything unexpected happens, retreat at full speed. If we successfully hunt it, we will divide the spoils according to combat contribution. Any objections? None. Hearing Lu Chengqing's words, the other four had no objections. They had learned on the way that a second-rank cold-bone bear had crossed the border and appeared here. Cold-bone bears were rare even in the bear country, let alone in the Great Han. Its hide and bones could be used to make equipment, and its flesh contained energy surpassing that of same-rank beasts. The most valuable part was the heart. Its pure energy could be directly absorbed by martial artists, greatly increasing vitality value. But that was only an auxiliary effect. The main ability was that there was a 15% chance to help ordinary martial artists improve their cultivation talent, turning them into element-type talent martial artists who master ice. Talent martial artists were anomalies among martial artists, appearing only 1 in 100,000. They naturally possessed powers that other martial artists did not have. Basic types included strength, speed, and defense talents. Elemental types controlled wind, rain, thunder, and fire. The cold bone bear's heart, although only a 15% chance, and could only be eaten once in a lifetime, was enough for them to take the risk. Since there are no objections, get ready, form up, and enter. Another red-tailed giant monkey fell under the blade. Killed first-rank fierce beast. Obtained attribute points 1. This was the 8th beast, Jung. He had killed after upgrading Galloping Thunderblade technique. His attribute points had accumulated to 8. He just needed to kill one more first-rank beast to strengthen his eyes to level 10. Jung he felt secretly excited. According to the system prompt, for every 10 times a body part was strengthened, a special ability would awaken. At the levels 10, 20, and 30, he would gain great improvements, so he was looking forward to it. He kept moving forward for nearly 10 minutes, and was about to leave the forest when the last beast ran out from behind. It was also a red-tailed giant monkey, but obviously much stronger. 3 meters tall with vigorous vitality, and blood-red eyes flashing with crazy murderous intent, as if Jung He had wiped out its children. Earlier Jung He had indeed killed quite a few young monkeys. It must have followed the scent. Name red-tailed giant monkey. State peak rage and frenzy. Rank second rank. Combat power 1,500. Before Jung He could react, the red-tailed giant monkey, driven mad by the loss of its young, roared and charged directly at him. Its thick limbs enhanced its leaping ability. It leaped up and smashed down head-on. The gravity and acceleration further increased its power. Jung He was not going to wait for it to land. He stepped aside and dodged to the side. The fist smashed into the ground with a loud rumble, leaving a large crater. If Jung He had taken that blow head-on, he would have suffered considerable damage. Galloping Thunderblade technique. In the gap when the red-tailed giant monkey rose, Jung He drew his blade and slashed at its neck. Among low-rank fierce beasts, the red-tailed giant monkey was one of the few with intelligence. Seeing that it was about to be killed in one slash, it growled, tucked its head in, and used all 4 limbs to roll backward clumsily. Seeing the monkey about to dodge the attack, Jung He's eyes narrowed slightly, and his concentration peaked. Everything in his sight slowed down, and in an instant he used Galloping Thunderblade energy. A crimson lightning bolt burst from the blade edge with a thunderous roar. The attack range expanded out of nowhere, directly piercing through the monkey's neck and severing its entire head, leaving a long gash on the ground. Killed second-rank fierce beast red-tailed giant monkey. Obtained attribute points 10. Attribute points 18. A second-rank beast directly gave 10 points. Now Jung He could strengthen his eyes to level 10. He took a deep breath. To avoid unforeseen circumstances, he immediately left the area to find a safe place to strengthen. Allocation successful. Consumed 1 attribute point eyes. Strengthened by 1. Consumed 1 attribute point eyes strengthened. Allocation successful. Current eyes strengthened to 10. Awakened special ability Spiritual Eye. Spiritual Eye allows more detailed observation, can foresee the opponent's next move in advance. At the same time, see through the opponent's weak spots. And this ability gradually improves with further eye allocations. Current allocation costs 10 attribute points. After completing the allocation and seeing the Spiritual Eye ability description, Jung He's heart pounded. Being able to foresee the opponent's next move in advance allows for earlier defense and quick counterattacks, and also seeing through weak spots. This Spiritual Eye ability is too powerful. Opening the system interface. Jung He opened the system and swept his gaze over it. After allocations, the data had changed greatly. Name Jung He. Rank second rank martial artist. Vitality value 27.6. Combat power 5,807. Enhanced body parts eyes 10. Martial Arts First Rank Basic Body Tempering Art Perfected. First Rank Great Stelly Fist Minor Accomplishment. First Rank Breeze Body Technique Major Accomplishment. Second Rank Galloping Thunderblade Technique Minor Accomplishment. Attribute points 9. Jung. He felt the surging powerful vitality within his body. The eye allocation and strengthening had increased his vitality value by nearly 20 points. Combat power increased by nearly 4,000. And he had become a true second-rank martial artist. Jung He crossed the forest where the red-tailed giant monkeys lived, walking across an open grassland, while also experiencing the wonder of his eyes. Eyes 10 not only gave him the spiritual eye special ability, but also made his dynamic vision even stronger. In just one day, his vitality value had gone from 2.8 to this level. The feeling of rapidly increasing strength was truly pleasant. However, Jung He let out a breath, feeling the abundant and vigorous vitality within his body. He frowned slightly. Originally, an increase of only 5 vitality points already made people feel vigorous vitality. Now with 27 points of vitality, it would certainly be more obvious. A martial artist's strength can be perceived by observing how vigorous their vitality is. And there are also special chi concealment techniques, which after cultivation can completely conceal vitality, preventing others from inferring the exact vitality value, and thus requiring vitality testing instruments and combat power testing instruments. Originally, my vitality value was too weak, so there was no need for such martial arts, but now I need them. He took out his phone and lightly tapped the screen, opening an app called Martial Arts Trade Mall. Just from the name, it was clear that this was a commercial application. Established by the Martial Arts Association, the Martial Arts Association was officially founded by the Great Han Country, along with the Western Federation's Holy Church, the Bear Country's Alpha Union, and the Eagle Country's Superpower Bureau. Known together as the world's 4 major supernatural organizations. Chi Concealment Technique. Chi Concealment Technique found. Jung He scrolled and searched with his fingers. In the Martial Arts Trade Mall, there were many functions. One could sell or purchase private goods, through official guarantees, and even post and accept various tasks, provided they were legal and compliant, and one could also purchase official martial arts tonics and weapons. But the maximum rank was 5th rank. Because he could allocate points to strengthen, Jung He chose the cheapest Chi Concealment Technique. But even the cheapest cost 27,000 yuan, and he currently had no money. So he could only hunt more second-rank fierce beasts and sell the materials from them. After thinking for a moment, Jung He chose cash on delivery, deciding to go back and hunt some second-rank beasts to sell for money. As for why not first rank? Because first-rank beasts were too common, unless they were very rare. Otherwise, they were basically worthless. As for that second-rank red-tailed giant monkey from before, forget it. He had already walked more than 10 minutes. Going back would be a pure waste of time. He glanced at the time. It was already 1 in the morning of the next day. Putting away his phone Jang, he continued westward. To the west there was a river, where he needed to rest. Darkness covered the earth, and from time to time chilling winds came, making one shiver. Only a little starlight fell, making it seem especially lonely. Everything in this wilderness, for martial artists with weaker nerves, was extremely terrifying to set foot in. But for Jung He, whose vitality had surged, and whose mood was extremely excited, it was just that. Gripping the blade handle Jung, he walked across the grassland. On the way he killed another, first-rank beast that recklessly charged at him, and upgraded Galloping Thunderblade technique to major accomplishment, with combat power changed to 6,300 points. After walking nearly 5 kilometers, he finally saw that river. He set up the tent, and sprinkled repellent powder around it, which had no effect on humans, but was extremely foul to beasts below 3rd rank. Just as he was about to eat something and rest, he suddenly heard from deep in the plain a rumbling sound and terrified screams. Impossible, what is going on? Damn it, wasn't it said there was only one? Why are there 2 cold-bone bears? Stop talking, it's attacking. Cold-bone bear, isn't that a beast that lives in the bear country? Jung He knew something about this beast, but why would it appear here? Let's go take a look. Deep in the plain, 2 massive figures were crazily advancing. They stood 5 meters tall, and with one swipe of their huge claws, could easily shatter rocks. Their entire bodies were ice blue, with bone spikes growing along their spines. They opened their mouths and spat out large clouds of blue smoke, which could freeze the ground. These were cold-bone bears, and there were 2 of them, facing their attacks. Lu Chengqing and his group could only dodge clumsily. Zhou Yi, Lian, Qian, you 2. Hold off the other one together. Shu Hao, Han, Chu, you and I. We'll deal with this one and finish it as soon as possible. No, first of all, who knows if the 3 of us can handle it? And second, Zhou Yi and the others simply cannot hold out that long. They are too strong. Facing Lu Chengqing's plan, the girl whose one hand was frozen and could only hold her spear with one hand, Han Chu immediately objected. If the 5 of them worked together, they could temporarily hold off 2 cold-bone bears, but if they split into 2 teams, the other team simply could not last that long, which would only hasten the 5 of their deaths. Then what do you suggest? Lu Chengqing shouted, which left Han Chu silent. What to do? Who knows what to do? One second-rank cold-bone bear, they could barely kill together. But if there were two, if only they had known there were two, they would not have come. And in the shadows, having arrived 5 minutes earlier, Jung, he quietly watched the system information. Name Cold Bone Bear. State juvenile rank 2nd rank. Combat power 4000. The other name Cold Bone Bear. State juvenile rank 2nd rank. Combat power 3900. There really are 2 Cold Bone Bears, but with combat power as high as 4000, and still only juvenile stage. This is much stronger than the red-tailed giant monkey. As for the 5 of them, the highest combat power was 2700 points, and the lowest was 1900 points, all 2nd rank martial artists. They look about my age. They should be students from number 1 martial arts high school. After this period of understanding, Jung Hee knew that the system divided a creature's life cycle into 4 stages. Juvenile growth, peak aging. The Cold Bone Bear at the juvenile stage could match a red-tailed giant monkey at peak stage, showing the strength of its racial foundation. Jung Hee observed silently, while looking for an opportunity, planning to act after the 5 were exhausted. Cold Bone Bears were rare and valuable. 1 2nd rank Cold Bone Bear heart cost 300,000 yuan on the market, let alone 2. Adding all the miscellaneous parts together would be 1 million. Just a moment ago, he was in the awkward position of having no money, but soon that would not be the case. As for why he would act after the 5 were exhausted, there is only one saying: one should not harbor ill intentions, but one must guard against others. Time passed second by second. The stamina of Lu Chengqing and the other 5 was also gradually failing under the attacks of the 2 Cold Bone Bears, seeing that their group was about to lose. The one with the weakest nerve and the lowest combat power. Lian Qianqian, although she did not speak, had tears streaming down her face. The back of her clothes was torn, revealing her pale white back, but there were 2 ugly claw marks on it. Her hand holding the weapon was also trembling slightly. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. I should not have come to the wilderness with others without you coming along. In a daze, the Cold Bone Bear's claw came swiping down at her. Qianqian, dodge. Idiot, snap out of it. Its claw is coming. Damn it. The stalemate formation was broken because of Lian Qianqian's daze. The 4 wanted to save Lian Qianqian, but unfortunately, they also had varying degrees of injury, and their stamina was failing. It was the thought that crossed their minds at that moment. But just then, a crimson rainbow suddenly struck. The piercing thunderclap seemed to pierce through the eardrums. It was a massive blade energy, sweeping straight toward that Cold Bone Bear. Major accomplishment, galloping thunderblade energy. In an instant, the Cold Bone Bear's arm was severed, and the remaining force did not stop, hacking away half of its body. The next second, Jung, he stepped with Bree's body technique, and his figure quickly emerged from the darkness. Gripping his long blade in just a few seconds, he crossed the distance and arrived in front of Lian Qianqian. With one slash, he directly cut down this still stunned Cold Bone Bear, killing it under his blade. Killed 2nd rank Fierce Beast Cold Bone Bear. Obtained attribute points 20, because the Cold Bone Bear was far stronger than the red-tailed giant monkey. The attribute points provided were also higher. Hearing the voice in his mind, Jung Hee licked his dry lips and looked at the other Cold Bone Bear with even more fervent eyes. 20 plus 20 equals 40. A full 40 attribute points could once again cause his strength to soar. Who is he? Because of Jung Hee's sudden appearance, the battlefield fell into an eerie silence. The other Cold Bone Bear looked at its fallen companion, and its massive body froze in place. Lu Chengqing and the others were also stunned. But soon Lu Chengqing snapped out of it and hurriedly said, "Now retreat quickly." If they still had some stamina left, they would certainly choose to work together to finish off the remaining one, but not now with their current state. Injured and broken, let alone fighting, they could not even run away. The Cold Bone Bear also came to its senses at this moment and immediately flew into a rage. It could sense the vigorous vitality emanating from Jung Hee, but the grief of losing its bear wife made it forget its instinctive fear. So it abandoned its attack on Lu Chengqing and the others and charged straight at Jung Hee. Lian Qianqian, behind Jung Hee, saw the ferocious Cold Bone Bear charging, and having just gone through a life and death crisis, she could not take it anymore. Her legs went weak and she plopped down on the ground. Jung Hee's eyes lit up slightly, and he immediately activated the spiritual eye ability, directly seeing through the Cold Bone Bear's movement. Its mouth was slightly opening. It was about to spit cold smoke. Jung Hee moved and stepped forward, charging straight in. When he got within 3 meters of the Cold Bone Bear, the beast opened its mouth wide and spat out a cloud of blue smoke. But Jung Hee was prepared and leaped up, leaving the ground. The blue smoke hit the ground and instantly solidified, turning into freezing ice that sealed the surface. Galloping Thunderblade technique. Jung Hee leaped several meters high and reached above the Cold Bone Bear. Gripping his blade, he slashed down with force, planning to repeat the same method and sever its head. But at that moment, the Cold Bone Bear's huge claw had already come, forcing him to abandon the attack and use his blade to block. A tremendous force transmitted through the blade, numbing his palm, and in the gap between the one-man, one-bear fight, the other 4 pulled the limp Lian Qianqian up and with difficulty moved to a safe spot. Watching the battle ahead, they could not help but widen their eyes. Who is this with such vigorous vitality? Even if Mu Changsha came, he could not compare right. Zhou Yi swallowed, looking at the handsome young man ahead, and only felt dry-mouthed. The Mu Changsha he spoke of is the top student of the 3rd year at Numbra, one martial arts high school, with a vitality value as high as 20 points, and also masters several second-rank martial arts at minor accomplishment level. He is called the top genius in the 100 years since the school was founded by the principal, but he felt that if comparing vitality value with the person before him, Mu Changsha would be slightly inferior by a few notches. His age is about the same as ours. Can he handle the cold bone bear? He charged out, so he should be able to. We cannot help much now. We can only watch quietly. I do not recognize him. Which high school is he from? Under the tense watch of the 5, the fight between the man and the bear changed. The cold bone bear's huge claws kept coming down, but Zhang He easily dodged them all, leaving deep craters on the ground one after another. As time passed, the cold bone bear regained its rationality, smelling the blood of its companion, and sensing the vigorous vitality from Zhang He so close by. It finally realized the gap between itself and the other. If the fight continued, it would also die. It was afraid and suddenly reared up, slamming both claws at Zhang He, while spitting a cloud of blue smoke to force him back. Then it turned and ran, but with its strength and defense-focused build, it could not run far, and was quickly intercepted by Zhang He, and with the intention to flee, it died even faster. In its haste, the cold bone bear struck down with a paw, not knowing its front was wide open. Good opportunity, Zhang. His eyes lit up, and he used the spiritual eye ability again. The cold bone bear in his sight became extremely slow. He could see that all over the cold bone bear's body, its power was concentrated in its limbs. Its weak spots were completely exposed, namely the heart and lungs. The heart was very valuable, so he could not hit it. So with vitality surging, Zhang He gathered his power onto the long blade, and with a thunderous roar, galloping thunderblade energy slashed down. Into its lower abdomen, a large amount of blood immediately gushed out. In extreme pain, the cold bone bear could not help but tremble. Finally, it was split into upper and lower halves. Killed second-rank fierce beast cold bone bear. Obtained attribute points 20. Liu Chengqing and the others watched the battle that had already ended. While shocked, they could not help but feel nervous. What shocked them was that the cold bone bear, that required all 5 of them to take down, was killed 2 by 1 person alone. Although they had participated earlier, there was no denying the others' formidable strength. As for the nervousness they felt when they saw Zhang He, after finishing off the cold bone bear, his gaze lingered on them for a few seconds, and their hearts tightened. Killing and looting in the wilderness was common. Before they were worried about the danger of the cold bone bear. Now they had to worry whether Zhang He would attack them. In their current state, they had no power to resist. Fortunately, the other only glanced at them a few times, then walked over to the 2 cold bone bears, and took out the most precious hearts, as well as some spine bones, hides and flesh, before leaving. After a minute or two of silence, Liu Chengqing licked his dry lips and said, "Let's see if there is anything useful left. After taking them, we will leave too." What a terrible day today. Zhang He stayed in the wilderness for another day, and only on Sunday afternoon did he walk back to Tianhong City. Since his current vitality and combat power were sufficient, he did not use attribute points, but accumulated them instead. At this time, his system panel showed, name Zhang He, rank second-rank martial artist. Vitality value 27.6, combat power 6,300. Enhanced body parts, eyes 10. Martial arts, first rank basic body tempering art, perfected. First rank great stelly fist, minor accomplishment. First rank breeze body technique, major accomplishment. Second rank galloping thunderblade technique, major accomplishment. Attribute points 73. A full 73 attribute points could completely push his strength very high, with a great possibility of allowing him to rival a third rank martial artist directly. And Zhang He weighed the bundle on his back, feeling his back wet. It was all blood flowing from the spoils. Besides the cold bone bear heart's hides and spine bones and flesh in one day, he had hunted 2 more second-rank beasts and stripped many valuable materials from them. After walking for over an hour, Zhang He saw the tall city gates of Tianhong City. Those going out had serious expressions. Those returning were either happy or worried. Look at that kid. Hey, isn't he the kid who went out the day before yesterday? He is carrying the flesh of second-rank beasts. Why do I feel he has changed a lot? Wait, look at his vitality. It is no weaker than mine. He has become a second-rank martial artist. The city gate guards were the same group as before. They were all surprised to see Zhang He. In just 2 days, a person could have such a huge increase in vitality. From first-rank martial artist to second-rank martial artist, he must have gained a great harvest. Returning home, Zhang He's parents had not come back yet. Their shift break was expected to take a few more days. He took the bloody bundle into the bathroom, first washed himself, then cleaned the items in the bundle. Finally, Zhang He wrapped the beast materials he planned to sell in clean vacuum bags, put on a tracksuit and was about to go out. The chi concealment technique he bought on the martial arts trade mall had arrived this morning, and was currently stored at the Tianhong City Martial Arts Association. He needed to sell the beast materials first, exchange them for money, and then go pick it up. All the way to the city center. A building with 50 floors and 200 meters tall stood there. The text hanging on it read, Martial Arts Association, Tianhong City Municipal Branch, Zhang. He looked up at the impressive building, then strode it in. The building was divided into two parts. Below the 10th floor was for selling and receiving goods. Above the 10th floor was for martial artist certification. Following the signs Zhang, he came to the 3rd floor. Here many martial artists chose to sell the beast materials they had hunted in the wilderness directly to the association because it was quick to exchange goods for money. Zhang He found a place with few people and queued up. Soon it was his turn. The poison sack of the 2nd rank red demon toad, plus eyes, flesh and tongue together came to 80,000 yuan. The shell and limbs of the 2nd rank blood-sucking worm together came to 50,000 yuan. Hey, this is a 2nd rank cold bone bear heart. Wait kid, are you sure you want to sell this? The buyer for Zhang, he was an old man, wearing a monocle. He looked at the last beast material in his hand, and was somewhat dumbfounded. With years of purchasing experience, he could tell at a glance that this was a 2nd rank cold bone bear heart. This kind of thing that could greatly increase vitality, and even had a chance to awaken a talent martial artist, was priceless and rarely seen on the market, yet someone was selling it. Truly a sight for sore eyes. Yes, how much is this? The old man gave Zhang He a strange look, but still said cold bone bear hearts are rare, and more expensive than other 2nd rank beasts. A single heart can be sold for 320,000 yuan. Are you sure you want to sell it? The old man confirmed again. Yes, Zhang. He nodded. He was short of money now. He would keep one cold bone bear heart for himself, just to increase vitality. As for that 15% chance, he did not think he would awaken. In total, it came to 450,000 yuan. It has been transferred to your bank card. Thank you. Putting away the bank card, Zhang, he got up and left. With a large sum of money, he took the elevator to the 6th floor, and from the staff, he got the chi concealment technique for 27,000 yuan. On the way home, Zhang, he looked through the system at the information on the chi concealment technique. 1st rank basic chi concealment technique can help 2nd rank martial artists perfectly conceal their own vitality, can slightly conceal from 3rd rank martial artists, and is ineffective against 4th rank martial artists. Current allocation cost 1 attribute point. Just a 1st rank chi concealment technique cost 27,000 yuan. It really reminds me of the saying poor in literature, rich in martial arts. Without money, how can you practice martial arts? Zhang, he immediately consumed 1 attribute point to learn the basic chi concealment technique at entry level, then spent 3 attribute points to cultivate it to perfection, and finally spent 1 attribute point to advance to 2nd rank, and 10 attribute points to cultivate it to minor accomplishment. In total, he spent 15 attribute points. 2nd rank perfect chi concealment technique minor accomplishment. Entry can perfectly conceal 2nd rank martial artist vitality. Minor accomplishment can perfectly conceal 3rd rank martial artist vitality. Major accomplishment can perfectly conceal 4th rank martial artist vitality. Perfection can slightly conceal 5th rank martial artist vitality. Current allocation cost 10 attribute points. At this point, Zhang He used the chi concealment technique to completely conceal his vigorous vitality. In others' perception, Zhang, he went from a 2nd rank martial artist to a 1st rank martial artist. Good Zhang, he nodded. Although upgrading the chi concealment technique cost quite a few attribute points, the effect of concealing vitality was very useful. So next he needed to hurry back. After all, he still had 58 attribute points, a huge sum to splurge. If he consumed all of them, he did not know to what level his strength would rise. After returning home, Zhang, he immediately took action. First, he took out the remaining cold bone bear heart. No processing was needed, he could just eat it directly. But before that, Zhang, he needed to upgrade his body tempering art first. The body tempering art was the foundation for martial artists to refine vitality, and also the method to refine tonics and beast flesh. After consuming them, the higher the rank of the body tempering art, the faster the vitality refining effect and refining speed. Previously, he had relied on allocation to strengthen his body to increase vitality, so there was no need to allocate to the body tempering art. But now it was different. This heart had too much pure energy, and continuing to use the 1st rank basic body tempering art, he simply could not absorb it in a short time. Zhang He opened the system and directly allocated to the 1st rank basic body tempering art. Allocation successful, consumed 1 attribute point. 1st rank basic body tempering art 1. Because proficiency was full, it successfully advanced and evolved into 2nd rank meridian penetrating body tempering art. 2nd rank meridian penetrating body tempering art entry evolved from 1st rank basic body tempering art. Added 16 new body training movements that run through all major acupoints. Not only can it greatly speed up vitality refining, but long-term practice can also enhance physical strength, speed, and power. Current allocation cost 10 attribute points. After reading the description of meridian penetrating body tempering art, Zhang He silently used another 10 attribute points to raise it to minor accomplishment. It was said that body tempering arts above the 5th rank had the effect of condensing special physiques. He would have that sooner or later. Jung-hee opened his mouth and in a few bites, swallowed the cold bone bare heart. Instantly, the pure energy within it spread out, swelling his body like a balloon. Not daring to delay at all, he immediately stood up, and according to the meridian-penetrating body-tempering art cultivation method, continuously struck one pose after another, sometimes stretching out his arms like a great rock, sometimes curling his whole body like a fetus breathing. As time passed, drops of sweat flowed from his pores and evaporated into white wisps. After nearly 3 hours, his swollen body gradually calmed down, though his cheeks were still flushed. System Jung. He silently called up the system panel and saw name Jung-hee rank 2nd rank martial artist. Vitality value 42.6, combat power 8,200. He had refined most of it, increasing vitality by 15 points, and some remained in his body after full refinement. It should increase by another 2 or 3 points. During the cultivation, he felt a chill rise from his spine, but it quickly subsided. Sure enough, I did not become a talent martial artist. Oh well, if I get it, it's my fortune. If not, it's my fate. Now to finish the other things. He looked at the remaining attribute points. Currently 47 points left. The body parts that could be allocated were still the same as before. Only eyes, limbs, and skin. The other internal organs were still grey and could not be allocated. He did not know when they would become available. First, skin strengthening. He allocated to skin. The attribute points quickly decreased, leaving 37 points. Allocation successful, consumed 1 attribute point. Skin strengthened by 1. Current skin strengthened to 10. Awakened, special ability hardening. Skin 10, skin density greatly increased. It can completely withstand attacks from 2nd rank martial artists without injury. Against 3rd rank martial artist attacks, it can also slightly reduce damage. After using hardening, defense is greatly increased. And this ability gradually improves with further skin allocations. Current allocation costs 10 attribute points. After reading the description, he understood that skin 10 and the newly awakened hardening ability were basically the same. Both were means to increase one's defense. By skin alone, it could withstand 2nd rank, and even slightly reduce 3rd rank martial artist attacks. If hardening was activated, even a 3rd rank martial artist going all out would probably have difficulty breaking through his defense. One could imagine being surrounded by a group of 2nd rank martial artists, with their punches and kicks landing on his body, while he remained completely unscathed. Continue. He turned his gaze to the last allocatable option. The system combined left hand, right leg, all together to form the whole limbs. So allocating also only required 10 attribute points. Allocation successful, consumed 1 attribute point. Limbs strengthened by 1. Current limbs strengthened to 10. Awakened, special ability divine power. Limbs 10 greatly increases limb strength. After using divine power, greatly increases one's own strength. And this ability gradually improves with further limb allocations. Current allocation costs 10 attribute points. Allocating to skin increased defense. Allocating to limbs increased attack power. Jung-hee clenched his fist and looked at his palm. There was no change in appearance, but with every clench he could feel the powerful force contained within ready to burst forth. Looking at the system interface again. Name Jung-hee rank, 2nd rank martial artist. Vitality value 95, combat power 2, 5600. Enhanced body parts, eyes 10, skin 10, limbs 10. Martial arts, 2nd rank meridian penetrating body tempering art minor accomplishment. 1st rank great stellar fist minor accomplishment. 1st rank breeze body technique major accomplishment. 2nd rank galloping thunder blade technique major accomplishment. 2nd rank perfect chi concealment technique minor accomplishment. Attribute points 27. At this moment, after 2 rounds of allocation, his vitality value had reached 95 points, close to the 3rd rank martial artist threshold, and his combat power had gone from 8,200 points to 25000 points. Possessing 3rd rank martial artist combat power, he still had 27 attribute points left, and he did not plan to keep them. He directly advanced 2nd rank Galloping Thunder Blade technique to 3rd rank, consuming 20 attribute points. Then he advanced 1st rank Great Stelly Fist and 1st rank Breeze Body technique, together to the 2nd rank. Allocation successful, consumed 10 attribute points. 2nd rank Galloping Thunder Blade technique 1. Proficiency increased to perfection. Allocation successful, consumed 10 attribute points. 2nd rank Galloping Thunder Blade technique 1. Because proficiency was full, successfully advanced and evolved into 3rd rank Thunderclap Draw Slash. Allocation successful, consumed 1 attribute point. 1st rank Great Stelly Fist 1. Because proficiency was full, successfully advanced and evolved into 2nd rank Heavy Mountain Fist. Consumed 1 attribute point. 1st rank Breeze Body technique 1. Because proficiency was full, successfully advanced and evolved into 2nd rank Chaotic Gale Body technique. A night passed and time came to the next morning. The playground of Tianhong City No. 6 High School was packed with people. Concerning the ownership of the youth training camp quota, all 3rd-year teachers and students were eagerly waiting. Principal Hong Kwon-dong personally arrived to preside over this midterm exam. and provincial examiner Shui Tao came to proctor. They had been old acquaintances 20 years ago. Principal Hong for the youth training camp quota. No, 6 high school paid a great price, right? In previous years, all 10 quotas went to number 1 high school. Hong Kwandong responded with a bitter smile. Very, very big, so big it made one vomit blood. For this one quota, it was enough to drain the resources of the next 7 years. Hong Kwandong's tone gradually became sharp, but seeing that no, 6 high school was about to be abolished, and the students would be dispersed to other high schools. So even if the price was huge, they had to get this one quota. The youth training camp was number 6 high schools. Only chance to avoid being abolished. Shui Tao was silent for a few seconds. He had heard rumors about his old friend's school. No, 6 high school had not produced any genius for 10 consecutive years. Its results were mediocre, and the resources allocated by the city were getting less and less. It was planned that within 7 years, no 6 high school would be abolished. Hong Kwandong was gambling, using the resources of the final 7 years as the bet. Betting that one student, after getting first place in the midterm exam, could obtain an opportunity in the youth training camp, and thus achieve good results in the college entrance examination. If the bet succeeded, no 6 high school would be qualified to ask the city for more resources, breaking the plan of abolition. If the bet failed after the college entrance examination, no 6 high school would simply disappear. This was the final result agreed upon by the city, and also a chance given to Hong Kwandong. Principal, the equipment has been debugged. At 8:55, a third-year teacher quickly came to Hong Kwandong. They were sitting on the high platform of the spectator stands in the playground. In front, in the center of the playground, were 3 testing platforms. On each testing platform were placed a vitality testing instrument and a combat power testing instrument. The school was so poor it could barely keep its doors open. Other schools used 10 or even 20 testing instruments for exams. The exam officially began with Hong Kwandong's command. The midterm exam had finally started. It started. My vitality value is 2.7. First place must be mine. You are dreaming, although our school is not as strong as no 1 high school. It is not like your 2.7 can get first place. I have 3.8. My vitality value is 3.8. Jiang He mingled in the class 7Q, listening to the noisy chatter without any inner reaction. He looked down at his palm. His rough skin had become smooth and fair. This was the effect of skin 10. Who could imagine what immense power was hidden beneath these hands? Through last night's martial arts allocation and refining the cold bone bare heart, his strength had now changed. Vitality value 98.3. Combat power 2, 9700. Third rank Thunderclap draw/entry. Evolved from second rank Galloping Thunder Blade technique. This blade technique inherits all the abilities of the former. Attack speed and destructive power are pushed to the limit. At perfection drawing and sheathing, the blade takes but an instant. Current allocation cost 100 attribute points. Second rank Heavy Mountain Fist entry. Evolved from first rank Great Stelly Fist. The fist technique is heavy, powerful, and exceptionally fierce. In battle, it crushes enemies like the momentum of a mountain. Current allocation costs 10 attribute points. Second rank Chaotic Gale Body Technique entry. This body technique sways like grass in the wind, making it hard for enemies to predict and increasing speed. Current allocation costs 10 attribute points. Now Jiang He only had 2 attribute points left. Third year class 6, Luo Si. When the exam started, the students whose names were called immediately walked up to the testing platform. Luo Si, you placed his hand on the instrument's cushion. The blood collection needle extended and pricked his fingertip. After a moment, the screen showed a value of 2.1. This value was mid-tier in number 6 high school. Not to mention first place, even the top 100 was doubtful. Then Luo Ku went to the other side, next to the combat power testing instrument. That was a 2-meter tall humanoid machine. Students could attack with their best weapon to unleash their maximum combat power. He drew his long sword and slashed hard. With a bang, the final result came out. Vitality value 2.1, combat power 253. This result was already considered good. The classmates below discussed. After the test, Luo Ku walked down from the platform. After everyone completed the test, there would be arena battles. Next, one student after another went up. Vitality values were mostly between 1.5 and 3. Occasionally one above 3 would cause exclamations. Third year class 1 Song Yuan Long. Vitality value 3.8, combat power 412. Third year class 2 Lu Kai. Vitality value 3.1, combat power 316. As student after student finished testing, Xue Tao on the high platform frowned deeper and deeper and could not help saying, Principal Hong, although their vitality values are not bad, they are only at the passing line in number 1 high school. Relying on them to help no 6 high school get out of trouble is probably unrealistic. I know, Hong Kwandong replied calmly. You know, and yet I am not relying on them. Just wait and you will see. Xue Tao's gaze fell back to the testing platform. 20 minutes later, a turning point came. Third year class 1 Zhu Zhangji. Vitality value 10.8, combat power 1213. Instantly the field erupted in exclamations. A vitality value of 10.8 is 3 times mine. He is actually a second rank martial artist, damn. So our school has such a person. Zhu Zhangji from class 1, I remember now. Isn't he the one who gave up entering one high school 3 years ago for love? Wait, you mean the one who was dumped? 2 weeks after enrolling, Xue Tao looked at Zhu Zhengji with a surprised expression, 10.8 vitality and 1,200 combat power. This is indeed a genius. Hong Kwandong nodded slightly. It is him. Without him I would not have dared to make a big bet. He is my only hope right now. Xue Tao rubbed his chin. If he enters the youth training camp and then takes the college entrance examination, it really might help the school get out of trouble. Mind if I ask a question? No need, I know what you want to say. You just want to know why among 6 high schools he chose the one ranked at the bottom. So why? He was originally going to one high school, but suddenly fell in love at first sight with a little girl from our school and ran to number 6 against his family's opposition. But because he was too clingy after 2 weeks of dating, he was dumped by her. This Zhang Tao was speechless. So he is a lovesick fool. The exam continued. When he saw Zhu Zhengji appear, Zhang He was also a little surprised. He really had not known that the school had such a person. It was beyond his expectation. He almost capsized. But at this point, it did not matter anymore. It was almost his turn. 3rd year class, 7 Li Jisheng. Vitality value 1.9, combat power 203. Next 3rd year class, 7 Jiang He. In the Q homeroom, teacher Feng Qi looked at Jiang He. Xiao He, it is your turn. Do not be nervous. Relax and try to show your best condition. Don't worry, teacher, I know. Jiang He nodded, then left the queue and strode up to the testing platform. Begin. Jiang He took a deep breath, looked at the vitality testing instrument before him, and placed his left hand on it. He had no intention of hiding his strength, and even if he wanted to, he could not hide it. The instrument could accurately measure vitality value. But what he never expected was that when the blood collection needle extended and tried to pierce his skin to draw blood, the needle tip actually bent. What is going on? The teacher beside him was dumbfounded. The blood collection needle tip actually bent. How is that possible? This is a second-rank blood collection needle. Its specially made tip can pierce the skin of a second-rank martial artist. Jiang, he was also silent. The defense brought by Skin 10 was really useful. But what should he do now? What happened? Why are they not moving? I don't know, Jiang. He has already put his hand on the instrument. Why is there no result yet? The students in the distance could not see the specifics, but Hong Kwandong and Xue Tao were both 4th-rank martial artists, and with their keen eyesight, they could see what was happening. On the testing platform, Xue Tao was stunned. Principal Hong, you just said Zhu Zhengji was your only hope. Then who is this child? A second-rank blood collection needle could not pierce his skin. I do not know. Hong Kwandong was also surprised. He truly did not know about this. After a few seconds of silence, he instructed a nearby teacher. Do we have a 3rd-rank blood collection needle? Give him one. Principal, we did not prepare a 3rd-rank one. Then use a 4th-rank one. I have one in my office drawer. What the hell? Why did this machine suddenly break down? A little time was delayed. The students saw the teacher go up onto the platform, fiddle with the vitality testing instrument for a bit, and then the test continued. Before that teacher left Jiang, he could see the surprise in his eyes. A student bending a 2nd-rank blood collection needle was indeed something to be surprised about. The exam continued. Jiang He put his hand back on the instrument again and relaxed his whole body. This time the blood collection needle pressed against his skin, and with a light touch it pierced in, drawing a drop of blood. Then the display screen showed a number that made everyone's jaw drop. Vitality value 98.3. Everyone's breath caught at once, and every face showed an expression of disbelief. Holy crap, a vitality value of 98.3. What the hell, am I seeing this right? Such a high vitality value, is there something wrong? Didn't this machine just get fixed? How is it broken again? The teacher beside him recovered from his dazed state, and upon seeing Jiang, his vitality score again fell into confusion once more. He was considering whether to let him retest, when Jiang He had already walked over to the other combat power testing instrument and gripped his long blade. Special ability Divine Power activated. Vitality surged. 3rd-rank thunderclap draw slash. In an instant, the students heard a deafening thunderclap in their ears, and saw a flash of light streak across, striking the testing instrument before continuing unabated, and then slashing the testing platform beneath it, opening a huge gash. The teachers could see even more clearly. Jiang He's blade left its sheath, and a blade energy slammed into the combat power testing instrument, and then immediately returned to the sheath. The whole process took no more than 3 seconds. The number on the combat power testing instrument screen soared. Combat power 29700. The vitality testing instrument just now might have had issues, but the combat power result now could not be fake. After all, they had all seen the power of Jiang He's strike. Even the steel testing platform was cut open. 3rd-rank martial artist. The vitality testing instrument was not wrong. It really was 98 vitality points. Holy crap. Standing in the queue and witnessing all this, Class 7 homeroom teacher Feng Qi had been drinking water and immediately sprayed it out, unable to help but curse. 98.3 vitality points, nearly 3,000 combat power. This is my student. No way, although he knew Jiang, his vitality should have increased some, but how did it increase so much? for combat power to exceed 10,000 unless he awakened, and suddenly became a talent martial artist. Shui Tao swallowed hard and stammered, Principal Hong. You really are not honest. You kept such a big trump card hidden, and even put Zhu Zhangji forward to fool me. You do not trust me. No, I really did not know. Hong Kwandong looked shocked and clenched his hands, almost squeezing blood out of them. But when he calmed down, a wave of intense joy immediately surrounded him, making him involuntarily laugh out loud, in front of everyone. With vitality as high as 98 and combat power nearly 300,000 at the second-rank martial artist realm with third-rank combat power. This is a genius, a super genius. A top candidate for the top scorer. His number 6 martial arts high school was saved. Come Xiao, he taste my tea. This is a unique cool leaf tea from my hometown. Refreshing and smooth. In the principal's office. Zhang, he sat on a chair, and Hong Kwandong kindly handed him a cup of tea. Thank you, Principal. Zhang, he was silent for a moment and took it with both hands. 30 minutes ago, he was still standing on the testing platform, but the moment the score came out, he heard Hong Kwandong's laughter and was then brought to the principal's office. Through the 4th floor window, he could see the teachers outside on the playground organizing for the upcoming arena battles. Principal, the arena battles outside are about to start. I need to go. Before Jiang, he could finish. Hong Kwandong waved him off. No hurry, no hurry. Xiao, here you just want to get first place in the midterm and obtain the youth training camp quota, right? I will make the decision on this. You do not need to participate in the remaining exams. The youth training camp quota is already yours. Hong Kwandong said while sizing up Zhang He, his gaze like he was looking at a great treasure, completely forgetting Zhu Zhangji, whom he had placed high hopes on earlier. Principal, is that really okay? Zhang He rubbed his nose. No problem with your vitality and combat power so high, giving the quota to you directly. No one will say anything otherwise. If you do not believe me, ask him. Old Shui, you say something. I am giving the quota directly to Xiao He. You are not going to object, are you? Hong Kwandong looked at Shui Tao sitting behind him. The words "do not object" were spoken with great weight, as if Shui Tao said he objected, he would explode on the spot. At this time, Zhang, he also looked at the system for the information on the two. Name Hong Kwandong State Peak. Rank 4th rank martial artist vitality 7,200. Combat power 8, 10000. Name Shui Tao State Peak. Rank 4th rank martial artist vitality 6,700. Combat power 708,000. Both had cultivated chi concealment techniques, completely concealing their vitality, but beneath their gentle appearances were humanoid monsters. 4th rank martial artists with combat power in the hundreds of thousands could easily crush him with one hand. You really are something. Shui Tao looked at Hong Kwandong and shook his head, then turned to Zhang He with a gentle gaze, and said, Student Zhang, I am Shui Tao, one of 2 examiners sent by the Dongshan Provincial Martial Arts Association to Tianhong City for youth training camp. Student selection, given that your vitality and combat power are both impressive enough to meet the direct recruitment standard, this quota can be directly given to you. This is a privilege for geniuses. Do not feel any psychological pressure. After hearing Shui Tao's words, Hong Kwandong turned back with satisfaction. Then thank you, Principal and Examiner Shu. Zhang, he expressed his gratitude. Xiao He, with your current strength, you can apply to transfer to 3rd year class 1. At this point, Hong Kwandong spoke again, in just half an hour. He had read through Zhang He's past academic records. During the last group test, Zhang He's vitality was only a little over 2 points, but now it had reached an astonishing 98 points. Although it was incredible, he did not ask how Zhang He had managed to increase his strength to this level in such a short time. The reasons were nothing more than a few. His body entering a rapid growth period, hidden cultivation talent gradually revealing itself, or perhaps he suddenly awakened a talent, becoming a talent martial artist. Or else he took high-grade tonics. All 3 situations existed. There was no need to dig too deep. Getting too close would also cause student backlash, which would not be worth it. Principal, I think class 7 is fine. No need to transfer. Zhang He replied. Hong Kwandong nodded, wanting to build a closer relationship with Zhang He. Since you have decided, I will not interfere. Changing your learning environment of many years suddenly also takes time to adapt, so not transferring is fine. Then do you have any needs? Anything you think the school can help you with, you can bring up now. As long as it is not too excessive, I can agree to it. This is the reward for first place. Hong Kwandong was about to say all of them, but thinking of the school's current situation, he changed his wording. Hearing this, Zhang, he thought for a moment, and then spoke. Principal, my vitality is about to break 100 and become an official 3rd rank martial artist, but I am lacking in weapons. I have 2 materials, and hope the school can find a master smith for me to help forge them. And I hope that after returning from the youth training camp, I can freely arrange my school attendance time. Both conditions were things Zhang he had thought of on the spot. The materials were the cold bone bear hide and spine bones. They could be made into weapons, but required a lot of money and hiring a smith. So it was better to let the school help. And although these hides and bones were second-rank materials, Jung Hee believed that what he would finally get would at least be a third-rank weapon, because he could see that Hong Kwon-dong wanted to build a closer relationship. Previous exams did not have so-called first-place rewards. Perhaps it was an investment, or maybe for other reasons, but when a fourth-rank martial artist took the initiative to show goodwill, he would not refuse. As for freely arranging his school attendance time, he needed to hunt fierce beasts to improve his strength and gain attribute points. Staying in school all the time would be restrictive. No problem, Hong Kwon-dong agreed immediately, then chatted with Jung Hee for a few more minutes, and after some small talk let him leave. After Jung Hee left and his footsteps could no longer be heard, the gentleness and calm on Hong Kwon-dong's face disappeared, replaced by intense excitement. He immediately grabbed Shui Tao. Look, see that. An 18-year-old second-rank martial artist with 98.3 vitality and 29700 combat power. Awesome or not? Awesome or not? This is the hope of our No. 6 high school. Haha. Light in the midst of despair. His homeroom teacher is Feng Chi. No, I need to reward him well. Shu Tao grabbed Hong Kwon-dong's hand. I know you are excited, but do not pull on me. Since there was nothing left to do, and Jung Hee had received permission from Hong Kwon-dong, he directly left the school. It was just noon, so he could still rest for a day and a half. The day after tomorrow he would set off for the youth training camp. It was said that the city where the youth training camp was held changed every year, and he did not know where it would be held this year. With a click, he took out his key and opened the door. Jung, he returned home. He took out the remaining cold bone bear flesh, boiled it, and ate it. He had not cut much flesh from the bear, and it would be finished by noon today. After eating Jung, he practiced the second-rank meridian-penetrating body tempering art to convert all the eaten flesh into vitality. Just as he finished training, someone knocked on the door. Hello, Mr. Jung. Here I am here to collect the materials. Opening the door, a young man appeared, wearing a Martial Arts Association uniform, with the words integrity on the front and benevolence on the back. This is the seal of Hong Kwon-dong, principal of number 6 high school, entrusting our Martial Arts Association forging department to help craft equipment for you. So fast, Jung, he was stunned. He had thought it would come tomorrow, but it arrived this afternoon. Wait a moment. He walked back into the room and brought out the vacuum-sealed, cold bone bear hide and spine bones and handed them to the other. After receiving the materials, the young man examined them, a flash of surprise in his eyes, then confirmed again. Mr. Jung, would you like them to be forged together into one piece of equipment, or into one piece of equipment and one weapon? It can also be made into equipment. Jung, he said, then please forge them into one piece of equipment and one long blade. All right, the young man nodded. While packing things away, he said, we will use the most suitable materials to bring out the maximum effect of these materials. It is expected to take about a month to forge and deliver to you. Goodbye, and have a pleasant day. Watching the pickup young man leave, Jung Hee closed the door and planned to rest for a short while, then go out of the city into the wilderness again. But just as he took off his shirt, there was noise outside the door again. Jung, he frowned. Why was that young man back again? But before he could go out and check, the door had already been opened. Ahem, wife, do you think our son will be surprised when he comes back and sees us? Probably. Who would have thought we would get a day off? Our rest time will increase quite a bit in the future. By the way, today is their school's midterm exam. He might come back a few tens of minutes early. I will go make him something good. Mom, Dad. Jung Hee walked out of his room and saw a man and a woman. They were around 40 years old, his parents. His father was Jung Yongyuan and his mother was Ruan Jingfeng. Both were third-rank martial artists and professional soldiers in Tianhong City. In this world, soldiers had a high-risk occupation, having to protect the city from fierce beasts. So their pay was high with large pensions, free medical care, housing purchase benefits, and other perks. With his parents back, he could not go to the wilderness today. Hey son. Seeing Jung, he suddenly walked out of the bedroom. His father, Jung Yongyuan, was first surprised, and then a surge of anger rose in his heart. Why are you here now? Isn't your school holding midterm exams? You should still be in the middle of exams right now. Why are you at home? Did you skip school? Oh. A barrage of questions left Jung Hee unable to speak, and he could only look at his mother, Ruan Jingfeng, for help. All right, do not scare the child. Ruan Jingfeng patted Jung Yongyuan's shoulder and said, sit down and talk, sit down and talk. Soon the three sat down. Jung Yongyuan looked at him sternly, with an expression that said if he could not give a reasonable explanation, he was about to get a beating. Dad, I have already finished the exam. Jung, he slowly began to explain. And then Jung Yongyuan's expression went from ennuyé to surprise, to astonishment to silence. And then as he watched Jung Hee cancel the effect of the chi concealment technique, that incredibly vigorous vitality was revealed before his eyes. All expressions turned into dumbfoundedness. Then gulp. Jung Yongyuan and Ruan Jingfeng looked at each other and could see the excitement in each other's eyes. Their son was a martial arts genius. Wife, do not bother cooking these days. Let's go eat out. Good boy, your father just got back, and you gave me such a big surprise. Not bad, haha. No, I need to call Uncle Pang and the others. Let them have a good envy. During this period, Jung Hee was dragged by his parents asking all kinds of questions, and there were inevitably a few fights in between. Good boy, a second-rank martial artist with 29000 combat power. Come on, let your dad properly test your strength. Not bad, your body is getting stronger and stronger. Jung Hee was pulled by Jung Yongyuan to the community training ground, and they sparred. Father Jung, after all, had trained for 20 more years than Jung Hee, and being a soldier, focused on combat. Jung Hee was naturally suppressed. Name: Jung Yongyuan State Peak with hidden internal injuries. Rank: 3rd rank martial artist, vitality 307, combat power 39700. Because of years of fighting against fierce beasts, Father Jang had hidden injuries, which also reduced his strength somewhat. Mother Ruan Jingfeng was the same. When I become stronger in the future, I must find a way to help my parents recover their health. Jung Hee thought silently. Time passed, and soon it was Wednesday morning. After leaving home and saying goodbye to his parents, Jung Hee arrived at the school gate, waiting for the youth training camp's special vehicle. Beside him were Principal Hong Kwon-dong and homeroom teacher Feng Chi. Look, that is Senior Jang Hee from 3rd year. He is a real impressive figure. 2nd rank martial artist realm with 3rd rank combat power. That is already enough for a direct recommendation to the 7 Saint Universities. He is about to go to the youth training camp. But yesterday, Jung Hee did not seem to participate in the arena battles. Let him participate in arena battles, come on. If he accidentally did not control his strength, you would probably break a rib and end up in the hospital for a few days. Students coming and going into the school saw Jung Hee standing at the school gate and could not help but whisper among themselves. What happened the day before yesterday had already spread throughout the school. After waiting for 4 or 5 minutes, the special vehicle from the youth training camp to pick up Jung Hee arrived. Come on up, student Jung. Inside the vehicle was Shui Tao. He opened the door from inside and let Jung Hee in. Principal teacher Feng, I will be going now. All right. Hong Kwon-dong and Feng Chi nodded. After Jung Hee got in, Hong Kwon-dong said to Shui Tao, Old Shu, I am entrusting Xiao He to you. He is a top scorer seedling who can enter the 7 Saint Universities. You must safely deliver him to the youth training camp. The 7 Saint Universities are the collective name for the 7 top universities in the country. As the name suggests, they were founded by 7 9th-rank martial saints. In the Great Han country, there are 13 9th-rank martial saints. 7 martial saints founded 7 universities. 3 martial saints serve in the military. 2 martial saints serve as the president and vice president of the Martial Arts Association headquarters. And the last one is at the Taoist holy site, Mount Qiyun. At this moment, Hong Kwon-dong had high hopes for Jung Hee. This is a top scorer seedling who can enter the 7 Saint Universities. With Jung Hee's current strength, there is no doubt he will be the martial arts top scorer of Tianhong City in the college entrance examination, and he can also contend for the national martial arts top scorer. This is the hope of number 6 high schools rise, and it must not fail. Principal Hong, you can rest easy. On the way to the youth training camp, there is not only me and another examiner. President Jung is also on board. President Jung is also here. Yes, this year's youth training camp is set up in Shanghai City. So President Jung is going with the students and plans to make this year's work report. Shanghai City is located in the central part of Dongshan Province and is one of the largest cities with a population of over 10 million and an excellent geographical location. The provincial branch of the Dongshan Martial Arts Association is located there. The hierarchy of the Martial Arts Association is as follows. The national headquarters of the Martial Arts Association, provincial branches of the Martial Arts Association, and municipal branches of the Martial Arts Association. And the President Jung mentioned by the two is the president of the Tianhong City Martial Arts Association. Shui Tao drove the vehicle. Jung, he sat in the passenger seat. They left number 6 high school and drove all the way to the Tianhong City subway station, then through the internal passage. They walked to the special train heading to Shanghai City. After getting on the carriage, Jung, he found that he was the last to arrive. Besides him, there were already 9 people seated. With a casual sweep, he actually found an acquaintance. Liu Chengqing. The few of them were from number 1 high school. The other 9 youth training camp students and 2 middle-aged men stood one in front and one behind at the carriage door. President Jung examiner Liu Shui Tao stepped forward and spoke. Sorry to keep you waiting. We were delayed a little by traffic on the road. It's all right. The man in front waved his hand and then looked at Jung Hee behind Shui Tao. So this is student Jung Hee. Hello? Jung Hee nodded and looked at this middle-aged man with a hint of shock hidden in his eyes because the man named Jung Liu Yun before him was a 5th rank martial artist named Jung Liu Yun State Peak. Rank 5th rank martial artist, vitality 23000. Combat power 2980000. Namaya Liu Yanyang State Peak. Rank 4th rank martial artist, vitality 5700. Combat power 610000. A 5th rank martial artist with combat power of nearly 3 million. This is a monster that can rely on physical defense to withstand all technological forces, except missiles and nuclear weapons. If he was willing, he could completely destroy. the entire Tianhong city in one day. Zhang Luyun first gave Zhang He a meaningful glance, and then said, since everyone is here, we will wait for departure. Traveling at full speed, we are expected to arrive at Shanhai City tonight. After saying that, Zhang Luyun walked straight into the front carriage. Student Zhang, you stay here and rest. We will go to the front first. All right. Zhang He nodded and watched Shui Tao and Liu Yunyang leave. Then he found a seat and sat down. During this time, Zhang He could feel that the other 9 kept their eyes on him. The atmosphere was a bit strange for a moment. What do you think will happen in the back carriage if we are not there? This train is divided into 3 parts, the front carriage and the rear carriage. At this moment, Zhang Luyun and Shui Tao and Liu Yunyang were in the front carriage. Hearing Zhang Luyun's words, Liu Yunyang was silent for a few seconds and then said, they will fight. There were 10 people in total, 9 from number 1 high school and only 1 from No. 6 high school. Those 9 were all geniuses who became second-rank martial artists at a young age. Arrogant and proud, they probably looked down on that boy named Zhang He. Indeed, the likelihood of them fighting is high. Shui Tao took over the topic. Student Zhang is from number 6 high school after all. Those kids have probably also heard the rumor that No. 6 high school exchanged a large amount of resources for the quota. If nothing unexpected happens, they will think that student Zhang got in through the back door. But they do not know that Zhang He is not only a second-rank martial artist, but also has combat power exceeding 10,000. Zhang Luyun finished the rest of Shui Tao's words with a look of admiration on his face. At only 18 years old, he has 98 vitality points. I did not expect Hong Kwandong this time to really give me such a big surprise. When I heard about it, I was stunned for quite a while. He is from number 6 high school, a guy who got in through the back door. What right does he have to be here? In the rear carriage, what Zhang Luyun and the others had anticipated was gradually happening. A tall boy with a crew cut glanced at Zhang He covertly, then turned to the boy beside him and asked, Brother Mu, do you think we should test him first? Once we enter the youth training camp, it will be a competitive relationship. And they from number 1 high school were all geniuses. So those they compete with should naturally also be geniuses. Someone who could not even get into number 1 high school and got in through the back door from number 6 high school. What right did he have to be with them? At this moment, Wang Gang was very annoyed. It is him. Liu Chengqing remained silent, but was very surprised inside. After the cold bone bear incident, because his strength was decent and his injuries were light, he entered the youth training camp in 8th place. But Han Chuchu, who could barely make it in, lost to Wang Gang due to an arm injury, letting the latter enter in 9th place. Now that Zhang He had boarded, he immediately recognized Zhang He as the person who had helped them kill the cold bone bear that day, and naturally knew how strong Zhang He was. Wang Gang was no match at all. However, he did not speak up to warn him. Wang Gang was usually too arrogant and unpleasant, so letting him suffer a lesson was fine. Do not go too hard, Mu Changsha said casually, as the top genius entering the youth training camp. Mu Changsha also looked down on Zhang He's backdoor approach and wanted to test him, but did not have a good way. Now that Wang Gang had stepped up, he naturally did not refuse, and also thought his new underling was quite good. Don't worry, Brother Mu, I won't make him bleed. With that, Wang Gang stood up directly and walked toward Zhang He. The other number 1 high school students all looked like they were waiting for a good show. Here it comes. Sitting in his seat, Zhang, he used his peripheral vision to see the few from number 1 high school talking, and soon a tall boy walked toward his seat. From his expression, it was clear he had ill intentions. Name, Wang Gang, state growth. Rank 2nd rank martial artist, vitality 13.7, combat power 2,380. Although he had expected it, he did not think it would be this soon. Well, let us finish it quickly. Zhang He watched the other approach. Just as he opened his mouth before saying anything, Wang Gang saw a hand swelling before his eyes, moving so fast that he had no time to react. It pressed directly onto his head. The next second, with a bang, a heavy sound echoed through the carriage. Wang Gang's head made close contact with the carriage's iron panel, and he was instantly knocked out. To deal with this kind of trash, Zhang He did not even need to use divine power. The sudden bang stunned the rest of the group. Only Liu Chengqing could barely remain calm. He defeated Wang Gang in an instant. I am not much stronger than Wang Gang either, so I would also be defeated instantly. He really is strong. Zhang He moved too fast. From the moment Wang Gang walked to his side, to when Zhang He struck and knocked him out, the total time was no more than 3 seconds. The carriage fell silent. A few seconds later, Mu Changsha finally reacted. Seeing his newly recruited underling pinned down, he immediately shouted, "Let him go," and moved to attack Zhang He. Name, Mu Changsha, state growth. Rank 2nd rank martial artist, vitality 20, combat power 3,900. Mu Changsha was the strongest student at number 1 high school. A week ago, this was a genius I could only look up to. But now Zhang He glanced at the information, and seeing the other charge at him, he did not get up, but calmly watched him. Dealing with him cleanly and decisively would completely solve the problem. Arrogant. Seeing Zhang He not get up, Mu Changsha felt a surge of anger, feeling his pride was wounded. Facing him, he would not even stand up. Was this looking down on him? Mu Changsha immediately increased his strength, and even used a martial art. The vitality in his body surged, converging on his hand, forming a wind-wrapped hand blade. Second-rank martial art, Gale Blade Fist. Facing the attack Jung, his expression did not change at all. Even though Mu Changsha used a martial art, his combat power was still within the second-rank martial artist range. As long as he was a second-rank martial artist, he could not even break through his defense. A second before the attack landed on his face, Jung Hee raised his arm. The attack landed on his arm and instantly tore a gash in his sleeve. But when it touched his skin, it stopped. Unable to advance even a fraction. What? Mu Changsha's face showed shock. His Gale Blade Fist technique could cut through even steel, but now could not break through someone else's defense. What rank of martial artist was this guy? Scram. Jung Hee exerted force with his whole body and looked at Mu Changsha, raised his fist and punched him directly in the chest, sending him flying. With a bang, Mu Changsha's body hit the carriage wall and then slowly slid down unconscious. The wall, made of iron plates, now had a deep dent, and this was only with Jung Hee holding back. If he used full force with his current combat power, he could send Mu Changsha and the iron wall flying out of the train together. Gulp. Seeing the miserable state of Wang Gang and Mu Changsha, the few students from number 1 high school looked terrified, and seeing Jung Hee's calm expression, they did not even dare to breathe heavily. They had all come through the arena battles, and had all experienced Mu Changsha's strength. But after Wang Gang, Mu Changsha had also been easily defeated. And you tell me this guy got in through the back door. What is going on? What are you doing? Why all the noise? They did fight after all. Hearing the commotion in the rear carriage, Shuai Tao waited a few minutes before walking over from the front carriage. Seeing the scene before him, he understood inwardly, but pretended to be angry. What are you doing? Do you not know we are about to depart? Fighting is fine, but not in the carriage. You few hurry and help them to their seats, and give them some water. Shuai Tao's arrival broke the silence in the carriage. The few pointed at, carefully glanced at Jung Hee, then helped Wang Gang and Mu Changsha up, and gave them some water. The train began to move. Through the window one could see the train entering the underground tunnel. Jung Hee sat in his seat, and no one dared to disturb him anymore. The others spoke very carefully, and even 2 of them communicated through a phone app, for fear of provoking Jung Hee. This guy is too terrifying. He easily knocked down Mu Changsha. Exactly that Gale Blade Fist technique can even cut through steel, yet it could not even break his defense. It is truly horrifying. Did this guy really come in through the back door? I do not know, but what is certain is that this guy is definitely no 6 high schools, hidden secret weapon. Time passed in silence. There were no accidents on the way. A few hours later in the evening, the train finally arrived at the destination. We are here. The train emerged from the underground tunnel. Hearing the noise outside, Jung Hee, who had been resting with his eyes closed, opened them. He looked around. The No. 1 high school people were all waiting for Jung Hee to get off first. Jung Hee stood up and walked straight off the train, watching Jung Hee's retreating figure. The No 1 high school students who had been tense all day finally breathed a sigh of relief. By now Mu Changsha had woken up, his mood extremely complicated. He touched his chest, which still ached slightly. He remembered the force clearly. It was enough to break ribs. Now it was only a slight pain. Obviously the other had held back and reduced the force. Otherwise he would not be participating in the youth training camp, but lying in the hospital for 10 days or half a month. He had originally planned to test the other, but ended up almost being beaten, to the point where he could not take care of himself. A moment later, everyone gathered in front of the train. At this time they had arrived at Shanghai City. Seeing the scenery outside, they could not help but show surprise. Just like the name Shanghai City, looking into the distance one could see mountains and rivers surrounding the city. Hurry up and get in the car, we will take you to the youth training camp. At this moment, 2 men in camouflage uniforms drove 2 vehicles over. In the distance, Shuai Tao waved at Jung Hee, and then left with Jiang Liu Yun and Liu Yangyang. His task was complete. Jung Hee withdrew his gaze and got into one of the vehicles. Then the rest scrambled onto the other. After some commotion, they set off again, but they seemed to have driven out of Shanghai City. The youth training camp was actually established in the wilderness outside the city. At this moment, even Jung Hee could not help but show surprise. The vehicle drove out of Shanghai City and entered the wilderness, and kept heading south. The road seemed to have been cleared, so they did not encounter any fierce beasts along the way. 20 minutes later, their vehicle stopped in front of a mountain thousands of meters high. We have arrived, get out. You continue walking ahead and you will reach the place. Everyone got out and continued forward. Soon they heard a noisy sound from ahead. A few quick steps, and they saw over 200 young people standing on an open space. They were all geniuses from various cities, all second-rank martial artists. Jung Hee silently scanned the crowd. With the system, even a 9th-rank martial saint could not hide their cultivation from him. He immediately found that everyone present was above second-rank martial artist, with vitality values exceeding 20 or even 30 points, and there were many such people. Looking at it this way, Mu Changsha before was only average. Normally a high school having 1 or 2 second-rank martial artists was already remarkable, but here everyone was One could only say it was worthy of being the youth training camp that gathered all the martial arts geniuses of Dongshan province. While Jiang He was observing others, others were also observing them who had just arrived. More people have arrived, counting them. There are now 252 people. I wonder which city's geniuses they are from. I just glanced at the list. Only Tianhong City and the local Shanghai City had not arrived. They should be from Tianhong. Then only Shanghai City's people have not arrived. As they spoke, another group arrived. Everyone's eyes turned to them, and their expressions changed slightly. The newly arrived team had over 20 people, and none of them concealed their vitality. Their vigorous vitality swelled, bringing great pressure to those around them. They are from Shanghai City, no way. So many people, releasing vitality like that is too arrogant. Just from their vigorous vitality, you know they are strong. Their vitality values must all be above 30 points. As expected of geniuses from a major city, there is no helping it. Shanghai City is the provincial capital after all, and the resources they have are not comparable to ours. Let's not provoke them for now. Now that we are all in the youth training camp, with the same training resources, and different cultivation aptitudes, let's see who is more arrogant after 10 days or half a month. The entire Dongshan province has a total of 23 cities. Each city has different strength, and the number of youth training camp quotas also differs. Remote areas only have a few people qualified to enter the youth training camp. Tianhong City having 10 quotas is already good, while Shanghai City with the strongest overall strength has as many as 24 selected members. Their strength is clearly visible. Reporting all youth training camp students from across the province have assembled. 276 expected, 276 present. Please give instructions. At the front of the formation, a soldier said. The commander, who looked only in his 30s, nodded slightly and then looked at the noisy crowd. Frowning and bellowing, "All of you shut up." His voice was extremely loud like thunder. The commander seemed to have used a martial art similar to lion's roar. A gust of wind blew and the students standing in front almost fell over. Seeing the scene quiet down, the commander nodded in satisfaction. Then he pointed at the mountain behind him and said, "The entrance assessment is about to begin. All of you see this mountain behind you. The youth training camp base is set up behind this mountain. Next, we will randomly distribute to you heaven or earth tokens. What you need to do after the command is to do your best to cross this mountain, and at the same time, obtain the other token from others. I will tell you in advance that in this mountain, we have not cleared the fierce beasts inside. While watching out for opponents, you must also be wary of beast attacks. Only those who obtain both tokens, and are among the first 100 to cross this mountain, will qualify to stay. Everyone else will be eliminated." As soon as he finished speaking, several soldiers began randomly distributing tokens. The token Jiang He received was a heaven token. He would need to defeat a few people and obtain an earth token. After the commander's words, the scene became chaotic again. What is this, an assessment right after arrival? We have been on the train all day. Can we not rest a bit? There are a total of 276 people, but only 100 will be taken. That means over half will be eliminated. This is too crazy. If we are eliminated on the first day, then we came all this way for nothing. Some of the weaker students already had pale faces, but some students looked interested and seemed quite eager for what was about to happen. The commander coldly interrupted the discussion. "You can still choose to leave now." The discussion gradually died down. Every one of them had fought tooth and nail to get here. Although they had many complaints, they could not easily go back. The commander continued. "Those who are afraid of danger and dare not cross the mountain can withdraw now and go home. But if you accept the assessment, start immediately." As soon as he finished speaking, dozens of figures rushed into the mountain first. The rest also reacted, and gritting their teeth, they rushed in one after another. Jiang He mingled among them. Soon all 276 geniuses had disappeared into the mountain forest. Behind the mountain at the youth training camp base, a man over 2 meters tall with half black and half white hair entered the base control room surrounded by several people. The control room had screens of all sizes, monitoring every inch of the mountain. The actions of all students were recorded on them. These students were after all geniuses from various cities, and could not really be left in danger. Professional risk assessors watched them. Once a life-threatening crisis was determined, third-rank martial artists would be dispatched to rescue. Of course, this also meant disqualification. "Commander Cao, we meet again." Seeing the big man approach, youth training camp chief director Kong Quan greeted him with a smile. Commander Cao's full name was Cao Wood, the commander of the Mad Lion Corps in the Dongshan Theater, with the rank of colonel and also a 6th-rank grandmaster. Under his leadership, the Mad Lion Corps had made many military achievements on the Beast battlefield and established a formidable reputation. Also known as the Iron Blood Corps. His most famous battle was 20 years ago, when Baoliang City in Dongshan province was attacked by a beast tide of 100,000 fierce beasts. With only his 3,000-strong Mad Lion Corps, he ground down the beast tide and then single-handedly killed the mastermind behind it, the 6th-rank Golden Thunder Scorpion. It is worth mentioning that when he killed the Golden Thunder Scorpion that year, he was only a 5th-rank martial artist. now nearly 60 years old. He is still active on the beast battlefield. Haha, it has indeed been a long time. The last time we met was over 10 years ago, when you were just a brat, and now you have become the chief director of the youth training camp, and have reached the 4th rank martial artist level. Well done, Xiaoquan. Cao Wude patted Kong Quan's shoulder, with a rare hint of a smile on his face. Kong Quan blushed at the address. Commander Cao, can you please stop calling me Xiaoquan? I am already 30 now. At least leave me some dignity in front of my subordinates. All right, I know Xiaoquan. How are the students doing now? Their materials are all prepared, right? Cao Wude nodded and agreed verbally, but did not change his address, and shifted the topic to the current entrance assessment. He had been entrusted by the commander of the Dongshan Theater to serve as the chief instructor of this year's youth training camp, with full authority over training these geniuses. Kong Quan's mouth twitched, forcing himself to ignore the Xiaoquan address. Then he had several surveillance feeds enlarged. The screen showed several students. Because the mountain paths were steep and the routes numerous, and their strengths varied, they quickly spread out from each other. This year's students, compared to last year, were much better, with 3 talent martial artists alone. As he spoke, Kong Quan enlarged a small screen. In the picture, a male student was advancing with an extremely light and graceful posture. The mountain forest was steep, but he walked on it like flat ground. Kong Quan tapped the screen with his finger, and student information appeared on the right side. Name Zhang Duoming, age 18. Vitality 41, combat power 7,100. Martial talent, speed talent, city Changyuan City, at only 18 years old with vitality reaching 41 points. And combat power as high as 7,100. And also a talent martial artist. He stood out among his peers and was a genius that major universities were fighting over. But Cao Wude only said one word, not bad, which puzzled Kong Quan. Finally, Cao Wude explained, Xiaoquan, you are still young now, but when you become a 6th rank grandmaster, you will find that martial talent is actually not that big a deal. In the early stages of cultivation, talent martial artists may have an absolute overwhelming advantage over ordinary martial artists. But the further along, especially after the 6th rank, this advantage becomes less obvious. 6th rank grandmasters can release vitality like a long dragon, and their power can shatter mountains before them, reroute rivers, and physically resist modern missiles. They also condense grandmaster souls, gaining flight ability, soaring through the air at supersonic speed. Isn't that equivalent to strength, defense, and speed talents? And if one actively practices martial arts in these areas, they are no worse than talent martial artists. Then 7th rank great grandmasters, 8th rank martial kings, and 9th rank martial saints master all kinds of means. Summoning wind and rain, wielding thunder may not be impossible. So how are they inferior to elemental talent martial artists? Do not listen to people talking about how great talent martial artists are. In fact, martial arts cultivation all leads to the same goal, which is to tap into one's own potential and explore the treasures of the human body, the process of life evolution. Listening to Cao Wude's words, Kong Quan's expression turned serious. I see hearing Commander Cao's words has truly been enlightening. Cao Wude nodded and continued watching the monitors. After a moment, his gaze suddenly shifted to another screen. The picture showed another boy advancing alone, with 2 tokens hanging at his waist, clearly having already collected both heaven and earth tokens, and preparing to head directly to the destination. But suddenly a massive creature rushed out from a pile of rocks, over 7 meters long and as thick as a bucket. A 2nd rank blackwater python. Its momentum had reached the peak of the 2nd rank, and was about to become a 3rd rank beast. The python opened its huge mouth and attacked the boy, its thick tail swinging with enough force to explode a person. But the boy's expression was extremely calm. The next second, the boy exploded into action, with a large amount of vitality gathering on his right fist, forming a lion's head, which then slammed heavily onto the blackwater python, instantly tearing the python's body apart. A major accomplishment, 3rd rank Furious Lion Fist. Who is this boy? The combat power shown by the boy in the picture even made Cao Wude's eyes light up. He is Li Tianyu, a local of Shanhai City, who entered the youth training camp as the top student from Shanhai City. Kong Quan called up the boy's information. Name, Li Tianyu, age 18. Vitality 61, combat power 9,370. Martial talent, Nun City, Shanhai City. 61 vitality and 9,370 combat power. Very good, this is a true genius. When his vitality breaks 70 points, or he cultivates a martial art to perfection, he will be comparable to a 3rd rank martial artist. Cao Wude praised at this. With such strength, he should be the strongest currently, right? But Kong Quan shook his head at that, and gave him a mysterious smile. Commander Cao, among this year's youth training camp, there is someone stronger than him. Oh, Cao Wude was a little surprised. There is actually someone stronger than Li Tianyu. Then how high must his vitality be? This student is actually the most powerful genius in the current youth training camp. When I first got this information, I could not believe it. But after repeated verification, the information is true. Kong Quan called up a piece of information. Name Zhang, he age 18. Vitality 98.3. Combat power 29700. Martial talent, Nun City, Tianhong City. With just one glance, Kalwood's pupils contracted, and his expression could no longer remain composed. What 98.3 vitality, and combat power as high as nearly 30,000 points. Kalwoode's face showed a look of shock, and his heart trembled at this moment. Ordinary people and those with slightly better talent are at the first-rank martial artist level at 18. Those with high talent and diligent cultivation can become second-rank martial artists at 18, and those with top talent plus abundant resources can have 60 vitality before the college entrance examination, just like Lee Tianyu. Kalwood had seen this kind of genius before, and he himself belonged to this category. But someone like Zhang He, who at 18 had vitality reaching 98 points and combat power near 30,000, he had never seen before. This kind of genius could probably only be surpassed by a martial saint's disciple. Kalwood rubbed his chin. Martial saint disciples were those who had lived beside martial saints since childhood, and were children or disciples with powerful talents. The resources available to them were unimaginable to the outside world, and their strength far surpassed their peers. They were not even in the same league. The scene shifted, and Zhang, he had gone deep into the mountain forest. In a dark corner, someone was secretly watching him. Just as Zhang He was about to pass by, they made their move. He was among the first batch to set off after the commander's order, with the purpose of ambushing those who followed, in order to obtain tokens. If it was someone else, he might have succeeded. But this time he had chosen the wrong opponent. I spotted you long ago. Zhang, his eyes turned cold and his right hand shot out, directly grabbing the other's collar. What the other clearly did not expect. Zhang He to react so quickly. Under his incredulous expression, Zhang He threw a punch using second-rank martial art heavy mountain fist. The fist rubbed against the air with a bang and landed hard on his abdomen. The enormous force made him open his mouth wide, and he passed out directly. If Zhang, he had not been holding his clothes, he would have flown off and suffered secondary injuries. With this little strength you want to ambush me. Zhang, his expression was calm. He took the token from the other's pocket. Luckily, the token was the earth type, saving him the trouble of searching. Zhang, he threw the other to the ground, and immediately advanced into the distance. With his solid strength, he was already at the front, and now that he had the token, he immediately used Chaotic Gale Body Technique at full speed, his speed increasing further. It is time to consider practicing amplification type martial arts. While moving forward, Zhang, he thought. His current martial arts covered fist techniques, body techniques, and blade techniques, combined with a strengthening of his eyes, limbs, and skin, and his 98 point vitality. His combat power far surpassed everyone else in the youth training camp. If he could learn a state-amplifying martial art, his strength would get another big boost. Sigh, there are so many things to do. Zhang He let out a long breath, feeling a headache. Body strengthening and martial arts cultivation both required a large amount of attribute points, and the attribute points he had left were only a mere 2 points. For a moment, Zhang, he regretted it. In this youth training camp, where could he go to hunt fierce beasts? Whether it was fortunate or unfortunate. Along the way, Zhang, he wanted to encounter a few fierce beasts to help increase some attribute points, but he simply could not find any. When he reached the mountaintop and looked into the distance, he finally saw the youth training camp base at the foot of the mountain. Then he quickened his pace and rushed down, and shortly after he arrived, suddenly 3 figures came charging in from different directions, 2 males and 1 female. They were the geniuses from Shanhei City. Zhang He glanced at them with his peripheral vision, and found that they were the ones he had seen earlier, the prodigies from Shanhei City. Among them was Lee Tianyu. As for the other 2, name Feng Yiyi, state growth. Rank second-rank martial artist, vitality 55, combat power 8,300. Name Lu Yuyu, state growth. Rank second-rank martial artist, martial talent, wind element control. Vitality 55, combat power 8,800. Elemental talent, martial artist, Zhang. He looked at the girl named Lu Yuyu, with a gust of wind carrying her forward, increasing her speed considerably. Then he looked at Lee Tianyu, whose combat power was as high as 9,370 points. If not for himself, he would be the strongest student here. Someone actually got here faster than us. Li Tianyu and the others who had just arrived at the base gate looked at Zhang He in surprise. As the 3 strongest martial arts geniuses of Shanhei City, they clearly had not expected that someone would reach the destination faster than them. Li Tianyu's expression turned serious, and his gaze toward Zhang, he was full of scrutiny. He was no fool to obtain the other token so quickly and become the first place. The other was definitely no ordinary person. He must have used a chi concealment technique to hide his vitality. Zhang He had already piqued his interest. Shortly after Zhang He, Li Tianyu, Feng Yiyi, and Lu Yuyu arrived at the youth training camp base. The 5th and 6th figures appeared one after another, a male and a female. The male greeted Li Tianyu and the others and went to the side to rest with his eyes closed. After the female arrived, she first looked at Zhang He and then went to chat with Lu Yuyu. Clearly they were also prodigies from Shanhei City. The overall strength of Shanhei City was indeed formidable. Zhang, he watched silently. Among the top 5 were from Shanhei City, The weakest among them, a girl, had 50 vitality and 7,880 combat power, while the other male had a strength talent, with 50 vitality and 8,100 combat power. Then the remaining 7th, 8th, and 9th places also arrived one after another. The 8th place Chen Yunkai was also a Shanghai City genius. The 7th and 9th were named Zhao Jianguo and Song Cheng. The 10th place was Zhang Duomeng, a talent martial artist. There were a total of 3 talent martial artists in this year's youth training camp, all ranked in the top 10. From this one could see that in the early stages of cultivation, the advantage of talent martial artists was indeed enormous. As time passed, more students arrived, and the further back they were, the more obvious the gap became. The vitality and combat power of the top 10 were all above 40 points and 7,000 respectively. The top 30 generally had vitality above 30 points, and combat power above 5,000. The top 60 had vitality above 20 points, and then below 20 points, but above 15 points. As for the rest, they were all eliminated. When the 100th student arrived, the entrance assessment officially ended. The remaining students who had not yet arrived were all eliminated. The sky gradually darkened. With the arrival of the 100th student, the commander from earlier walked out of the base. As his voice fell, everyone present breathed a sigh of relief. This entrance assessment was set up in the mountains, precisely to screen participants. Only those with sufficient combat power and the ability to adapt to unexpected situations like enemy attacks and beast encounters could stay. Shanghai City, which had the strongest overall strength, had 7 of its 24 students eliminated, leaving 17, about 1/5 of the remaining number. As for Zhang He's Tianhong City, 5 were eliminated, including one gang who had provoked Zhang He. The worst off were the students from Dekai City, who did not even have a single one left. Open the gate to the youth training camp base. The commander waved his hand and the gate opened. Everyone filed in one after another. Once inside, they were immediately stunned. From the outside, the base did not look very large, but after entering they found that the outside was just an illusion. The base had hollowed out the earth. 30 meters below the ground level were various huge buildings. No way, this is almost as big as a small town. My god, isn't that the highest level gravity chamber? There are only over 1,000 of them in the entire world, used to improve physical fitness and condense vitality. The youth training camp actually has one. The gravity chamber is still small. Look over there, the biological treatment unit can help martial artists recover from injuries quickly, and with supplements even broken limbs can be reattached. Wait, I have a bad feeling about this. The laser arena can emit harmless lasers, specifically used to improve reaction speed and body technique level. I thought the base was just a name, but it really is a real base. Amid the discussion, everyone was led to a huge training ground. Quiet, all of you, stand at attention. Under the command of a camp instructor, all the students lined up neatly. Then a large man over 2 meters tall, along with several people in camouflage uniforms, walked up to them. Cao Wude stood in the middle of the group, and a grand momentum surged from him, using his gaze as a medium, falling upon every student. Martial arts cultivation from 1st rank to 5th rank martial artist only requires continuous training to increase vitality and combat power. But advancing from 5th rank to 6th rank Grandmaster requires not only increasing vitality, but also additional cultivation of spiritual power martial arts, continuously strengthening spiritual power and combining it with strength to condense the Grandmaster soul. Once the Grandmaster soul is condensed, the martial artist's strength is greatly enhanced, and they also gain the ability to fly and move through the air. The pressure Cao Wude was releasing now was the spiritual pressure released by his Grandmaster soul, combined with the killing aura from years of slaying fierce beasts. In an instant, everyone felt their hairs stand on end, instinctively sensing extreme danger, as if being targeted by a giant lion tens of meters tall, and the next moment their bodies would be torn apart. A dozen of the weaker students had their faces and even lips turn pale directly. Fortunately, the pressure did not last long, and dissipated after 10 seconds. Seeing that no student had fainted under 1/20th of his pressure, Cao Wude nodded with satisfaction. Name Kongquan State Peak. Rank 4th rank martial artist, vitality 6,280. Combat power 743000. Name Cao Wude State. Aging with hidden internal injuries. Rank 6th rank Grandmaster, vitality 460000. Combat power 72000000. This man is actually a 6th rank Grandmaster. Zhang, his pupils contracted, and he was extremely surprised inside. 460,000 vitality and 70 million combat power. It was truly terrifying. First, the highest level gravity chamber biological treatment unit, and the laser arena, and now a Grandmaster appeared. The Dongshan province higher-ups truly valued the geniuses of the youth training camp. Zhang He suppressed his surging thoughts. Ever since he obtained the quota through the midterm exam, the people he had met were all stronger than the last. At this time, Kongquan on Cao Wude's left spoke. Greetings for the first time, all youth training camp students. I am Kongquan, the chief director of this youth training camp. You can also call me Director Kong. First of all, I would like to congratulate you on staying, but do not feel fortunate. The entrance assessment just now was just a small game. What you need to face next is the real test. This is Commander Cao Wood from the Mad Lion Corps. In the next 2 months, he will serve as your chief instructor, with full authority over your training tasks. After speaking, Kong Quan looked at the time. It was already 10 o'clock. Students injured in the entrance assessment will follow the instructors to the biological treatment unit to receive treatment. The rest will go to the cafeteria to eat, and then return to the dormitories to rest. Formal training starts at 7 tomorrow morning. The formation disbanded and injured students went for treatment. The rest followed the signs to the cafeteria. After a long journey and the entrance exam, they were already starving. Seeing the food prepared by the youth training camp, they were shocked again. No way all of this is second-rank beast meat. Damn, is this going to be 3 meals a day of beast meat? This is too good. Some students from remote areas were extremely excited at this moment, as everyone knew the energy in beast flesh could be converted into vitality through eating and body tempering arts. But eating beast meat regularly was expensive and not something they could afford, let alone second-rank beast meat. So ignorant. A student from Shanghai City heard the discussion and muttered quietly, but was immediately stopped by his companion. There were still many smart people in this world. Everyone started eating while discussing what had happened today. Today's entrance assessment was really too hard. I almost did not pass. Hard only for us, not necessarily for others. There are only 3 talent martial artists this year, all in the top 10. Having a talent really makes one envious. Damn, I remember now. Our chief instructor, Cao Wood. Isn't he the legendary figure who in the Baoliang City defense battle 20 years ago led 3,000 Mad Lion Corps troops and successfully annihilated a beast tide of 100,000? Wait, are you talking about the one who at the 5th rank level killed the 6th rank Golden Thunder Scorpion? He is actually our chief instructor. We definitely came to the right place. At this moment, the students gradually remembered just who Cao Wood was. And at the same time, they felt anticipation and nervousness for tomorrow's formal training. With Commander Cao personally serving as instructor, plus all these resources, their strength would surely grow rapidly. But they had also heard that the Mad Lion Corps was renowned for its iron-blooded discipline, and they did not know if they could hold on. The next morning, Zhang He got up at 5 o'clock. After eating at the cafeteria, he returned to the dormitory and began practicing the second-rank meridian-penetrating body tempering art. Time slowly passed until 6:30, when a piercing bell rang through the entire camp. He stopped and wiped his sweat with a towel, then walked toward the training ground, while looking at the system interface. Name Zhang He, rank, second-rank martial artist. Vitality 98.7, combat power 2, 9870. Enhanced body parts, eyes 10, skin 10, limbs 10. Martial arts, second rank meridian penetrating body tempering art minor accomplishment. Second rank heavy mountain fist entry. Second rank chaotic gale body technique entry. Third rank thunderclap draw slash entry. Second rank perfect chi concealment technique minor accomplishment. Attribute points 2. By eating more beast meat in about another week, he would become a third rank martial artist. An 18-year-old third-rank martial artist was something very difficult for the world to imagine, and was considered a super genius. It would only take 1 week. But at this moment, Zhang He frowned slightly, because he had experienced the feeling of rapid strength growth, and hoped that the upcoming training would bring him surprises. Zhang, he set off when the bell rang, thinking he would be the first to arrive at the training ground. But unexpectedly, he was the second. That person was Li Tianyu. This guy had probably arrived an hour early, hadn't he? Looking at Li Tianyu drenched in sweat, practicing some kind of martial art, Zhang He was a little surprised, and did not feel like chatting with him either. He quietly walked to a spot and stood there, waiting for the others. But just because he did not want to chat, did not mean others did not. Li Tianyu saw Zhang He arrive, and immediately stood up, walked over to him and extended his right hand. Hello, my name is Li Tianyu from Shanghai City No. 1 Martial Arts High School. Zhang He from Tianhong City No. 6 High School. Seeing the other take the initiative to speak, Zhang, he also smiled and shook his hand in return. Li Tianyu continued, you are very strong in yesterday's entrance assessment. I also used all my strength, but I did not expect to be left behind by you. Just luck, the assessment had multiple routes, and the dangers encountered were different. I was just relatively fortunate. Zhang, he said modestly. Is that so? Li Tianyu clearly did not believe him, but he also understood that the upcoming training would soon reveal Zhang He's true strength, so he did not mind it anymore. The two chatted word by word. Soon most of the students arrived. Zhang He saw the Shanghai City students not far away, waving at Li Tianyu, and then he said goodbye and left. Then Zhang He noticed a few subtle glances. He followed them and saw the remaining 4 students from Tianhong City. They looked at him from time to time, probably considering whether to come over. After all, in the youth training camp, they formed small groups based on their cities. Liu Chengqing had also been eliminated earlier. After all, his strength in the camp was not that great either. Zhang He looked at those 4, with Mu Changsha as their leader, the other 3 being 2 males and 1 female. Do you know, yesterday I heard from the Shanghai City people that their number 1, Li Tianyu, has a vitality value as high as 61 points. And not only that, there are also 2 talent martial artists among them. Lu Yu, who controls wind elements, and He Dong, who has a strength talent. The top 10 of the entrance assessment includes 6 from Shanghai City, but the first place seems to be called Zhang He. How much vitality does he have to be able to surpass the Shanghai City people? I do not know, but the remaining 4 from Tianhong City do not seem to have a good relationship with him. Line up and assemble. While everyone was whispering, Cao Wude walked over leading 4 figures. There were a total of 100 students in the youth training camp, and they could not all be managed by him alone, so there were 4 additional assistant instructors. The scene fell silent. Cao Wude swept his gaze over everyone. I will remind you once again, the upcoming training will be extremely strict and accompanied by danger. If you want to withdraw, now is the time. Once training starts, even if you want to leave, you will not be able to. Everyone remained silent. If they were truly afraid, they would have eliminated themselves yesterday. Very good. Cao Wude waited for a moment, and seeing no one speak, he praised them. Then he signaled one person beside him to step forward. That was a young instructor, about 28 or 29. Next, I will explain the daily training tasks for everyone. There are 3 tasks in total. First task in the morning, everyone carries a load of 800 kilograms, and then enters the gravity chamber to practice body tempering arts. You may choose to practice the second rank ancient military body tempering art provided by us, or your own. But the minimum time limit is 3 hours, and the minimum gravity multiplier is 3 times. Whether you need to increase the load will be determined after our observation. Second task in the afternoon, everyone goes to the laser arena to train reaction ability, with a time limit of no less than 2 hours. Third task beneath your feet is another site, which is the Beast Prison. We have imprisoned thousands of second rank and third rank fierce beasts. Every night, each of you must kill 2 beasts of the same rank. After hearing the training tasks, many students were stunned. Let's not mention the first and second tasks for now. Just talk about the last one. The Beast Prison holds thousands of fierce beasts, and it is beneath our feet. Are you kidding me? So we slept on top of thousands of fierce beasts last night. The young instructor had not finished speaking. In addition to the daily training tasks, we will also add other training, according to the situation. Then there is the youth training camp graduation assessment. When the camp is about to end, there will be a hunting exam, where you will be sent into the wilderness. Each beast killed earns points, and the one with the highest points can obtain any type of martial art or technique. From Chief Instructor Cao. As the words fell, the students who had been frowning at the difficulty of the training all became excited. Through last night's cafeteria discussions, they all knew just who Chief Instructor Cao Wude was. He was the big shot who 20 years ago at the 5th rank level killed a 6th rank beast. The martial arts he taught must be amazing. Zhang He felt some gazes directed at him. Many people already saw him as their strongest competitor. There was no helping it, even though he had not yet revealed his strength. Being the first to arrive at the youth training camp last night was bound to be noticed by some, and he did not intend to hide his strength anyway. The Beast Prison with thousands of second rank and third rank beasts. One second rank beast provided at least 10 attribute points. Killing 2 per day by the end of the camp would accumulate at least 1,200 points, and with high safety. And the top prize of a martial art, as long as he became the one with the highest points. He could obtain an amplification type martial art to enhance his own strength. This youth training camp is really not bad. Under the instructor's guidance, the students began their first day of training. In the morning, it was the gravity chamber. The youth training camp gravity chamber was a long corridor and represented the world's most advanced technology, divided into 13 rooms. Each room forward increased the gravity by 1-fold, with a maximum of 13 times gravity. They had to wear 800 kilograms of weight and practice body tempering arts under 3 times gravity for a minimum of 3 hours. Because everyone was experiencing the gravity chamber for the first time. They were all a little nervous. After putting on the special 800 kilogram weighted suits, distributed by the instructors, and the second rank ancient military body tempering art was taught to those who wanted to practice it. This was the standard ancient military body tempering art used by the military, much better than the school's first rank basic body tempering art. The others did not practice it, apparently either having the same level or a higher level body tempering art. There was no helping it, this was the gap. When all the students were ready, the instructor activated the gravity chamber. All 100 students walked in, with 800 kilograms of weight, plus 1 times gravity. Some of the weaker students frowned. After entering the next room, those students broke out in cold sweat. When they entered the 3 times gravity room, one student immediately collapsed to the ground. Damn, this is too heavy. It felt like carrying a small mountain. To practice martial arts under this gravity environment was truly a huge challenge. Those students clearly stopped at the 3 times gravity room. No feeling. Zhang He clenched his fist. 3 times gravity plus 800 kilograms of weight was not difficult for him. He was going to the next room. And he was not the only one. Any student with vitality above 20 points could continue forward. When they reached the 4 times gravity room, another group of students stayed behind. Continuing forward at the 5 times gravity room, Zhang He felt a bit of weight, but it was not a problem, and he could continue. But this time, not many could keep up with him. Only those in the top 10 with vitality above 40 points could follow his steps. These people are really monsters. They can still run into the 6 times gravity room. I can only wave my fists and barely practice. You can still practice. Wait. I will go back to the 4 times gravity room. By the way, what is that Jung Hee's background? He was first in yesterday's entrance assessment and looked very relaxed. Who knows, at least being able to enter the 6 times gravity room means his vitality is above 40 points. They're all stronger than us. 10 people entered the 6 times gravity room. Immediately Zhang Duomeng, who had the speed talent, and Song Chiang Chen Yunkai, and Zhao Jianguo. Their expressions changed slightly. After thinking for a moment, they chose to stay there, while Zhang Hili Tianyu Fang Yi Lu Yu Yu, and He Dong, who had the strength talent, and another girl named Shu Jingjin. 6 people walked into the 7 times gravity room. Commander Cao, how many times gravity? Do you think each of them can endure? Outside, Cao Wood and Kong Quan were watching everything through the monitors. Hearing Kong Quan's question, Cao Wood rubbed his stubble and analyzed seriously. Combat power is the comprehensive destructive power, combining various martial arts levels and vitality, so combat power cannot fully represent the maximum gravity a person can withstand. But vitality is different. It represents physical strength and is the foundation of foundations. As long as vitality is high enough, even without any martial arts, one can have extremely strong combat power. So whether one can reach a higher gravity chamber depends entirely on vitality. Fang Yi, Lu Yushu Jingjin, they 3 will stop at the 7 times gravity room. Although He Dong has a strength talent, it increases combat power, not vitality, so he will also stay here. As for Li Tianyu, he will reach 8 times, and Zhang He at least 10 times gravity to start. Cao Wude's tone was heavy. Upon hearing this, Kong Quan sighed and shook his head. 10 times gravity, this young man is truly remarkable. It seems you need to add more weight to him. 800 kilograms is too easy for him. Do you even need to say that, kid? You better hurry up and prepare the biological treatment units, and prepare more tonic soups. Training like this every day will deplete potential early, so supplementation is necessary, just as Cao Wood predicted. After entering the 7 times gravity room, Fang Yi, Lu Yu Yu, He Dong, and Shu Jingjin, their faces immediately turned pale. Their entire faces were wrinkled, all pressed down by the immense gravity. Zhang He felt the current gravity, and it had not yet reached his limit, so he walked toward the 8 times gravity room. When the others saw him preparing to continue, their expressions froze. Then they understood the gap between them and him. How high is this guy's vitality exactly? This guy from Tianhong City is just too ridiculous. At this moment, all the pressure fell on Li Tianyu. Li Tianyu gritted his teeth and followed. The moment he entered the 8 times gravity room, he felt a tremendous force pressing down, and the vitality flowing through his body also stalled briefly. Lifting his head with difficulty, he saw Zhang He walk into the 9 times gravity room. Li Tianyu's pupils contracted. He can still go further, is Zhang He, a 3rd-rank martial artist. Almost there, entering the 9 times gravity room. Since no one could keep up with him, Zhang He relaxed a little, stretched his body, and then continued forward. 10 times gravity room, 11, 12, 13. Boom! The moment he stepped into the 13 times gravity room, Zhang He felt as if he were being wrapped by a giant hand. A surging force came from all directions, as if trying to crush him. Zhang He immediately stepped back. The maximum he could withstand was 12 times gravity, and entering 13 was still a bit short. No, if he used the skin hardening ability, he should be able to endure it, but there was no need for that. After slightly adapting to the gravity, Zhang He began practicing the meridian penetrating body tempering art. Through the external gravity pressing on his body, practicing the body tempering art was much harder than usual, but the gains were also great. 12 times gravity helped temper his physique, and better refine his vitality, with training speed several times faster than outside. 3 hours gradually passed. More and more students walked out of the gravity chamber. Each one was drenched in sweat, as if they had just been pulled out of water. I am out. It is so much more comfortable outside. The gravity chamber is simply not a place for people. Coming out feels so light. Ah, this familiar gravity is truly nostalgic. One student after another sighed, having walked out of the gravity chamber alive. But a few students also noticed that some people had not yet come out. Those top 10 guys have not come out yet. No way, it has been over 3 hours. Why have they not come out yet? Did the gravity chamber crush your brain? It is a minimum of 3 hours, not a maximum of 3 hours. Well, I forgot. How long are they going to stay in there? The students were very curious about when the 10 of them would come out. They wanted to wait, but their tired bodies told them they could not hold on and needed to eat immediately, then take a good nap, to enjoy the afternoon and evening training. After taking off their weighted suits, another hour passed after they left. Zhang Duomeng Song, Chiang Chen Yunkai, and Zhao Jianguo also walked out. Chen Yunkai stayed to wait for his companions, while the other 3 left first. More than 10 minutes passed. Li Tianyu, Fang Yi, Lu Yu Yu, He Dong, and Shu Jingjin walked out together. But their expressions were a little strange. Only you 5. Has that Zhang He still not come out? Wait, no way, Chen Yunkai asked. But seeing the expressions of the group, he then thought of something and looked utterly incredulous. He whispered, is that Zhang He a 3rd-rank martial artist? When Zhang He walked out of the gravity chamber, his sweat had soaked through his clothes, and his stomach felt hungry. He glanced at the time. It was almost 1 in the afternoon. The afternoon assembly time was 2:30. Jung, he immediately went to the cafeteria, ate ravenously after finishing, returned to the dormitory to shower. After training in the gravity chamber, his vitality had increased a little, 99, only 1 point away from the 100 mark. This gravity chamber is pretty good, Jung Hee thought to himself. After showering, he practiced the meridian-penetrating body-tempering art again to refine the beast meat in his stomach. After a 20-minute nap, the camp training bell rang. He got dressed and went to the training ground, where most of the students had already arrived. Walking into the crowd, Jung Hee felt more and more gazes on him. Where did this Jung Hee come from? He is way too impressive. He can actually enter the 9 times gravity chamber. At least 9 times. No one knows if he entered 10 times. Third-rank martial artist, even if he is not. His vitality must have broken 90 points. If not, I will live stream. Eating shit while doing a handstand. This guy is just too monstrous. Clearly the news that Jung Hee had entered the 9 times gravity chamber and above had already spread. The students also understood that this year's youth training camp had a big shot, and even the Shanghai city people could not compare. In the afternoon came the laser arena training. The laser arena was a huge cage, with many dense small dots around it. Once started, the dots would emit lasers, and the frequency would increase over time. These lasers could be broken, or dodged, and were specifically used to train reaction speed and body techniques. Training began. Li Tianyu lasted 3 hours and 27 minutes. Feng Yi lasted 3 hours and 11 minutes. Lu Yuyu, as a wind element talent martial artist, lasted even longer than Li Tianyu, at 3 hours and 36 minutes. As for Jung, although his second-rank chaotic gale body technique was only at entry level, he had strong vitality and physical fitness, plus his enhanced and freakish dynamic vision, so his lasting time was 5 hours and 13 minutes. The students who had waited specifically for his result all stared at the display screen and were completely dumbfounded. This is simply a dimensionality reduction strike. Damn, how are these guys all so impressive? The afternoon training ended. After dinner, everyone assembled on the training ground again. This time the students looked very serious, and all drew their weapons. Clearly the upcoming beast prison was a considerable challenge for all of them. Jung Hee was excited. The attribute points that had not increased for many days would finally increase today. Open the gate. Cao Wood stood at the front of the student formation. Because there were thousands of beasts in the underground beast prison, he had to watch over them personally to avoid accidents. As his words fell, an instructor pressed a remote control, and the ground trembled. A section of the ground suddenly tilted, opening a passage leading underground. A faint smell of blood wafted over, and faint roars could be heard. All go down. Cao Wood led everyone down. After descending nearly 20 meters, they saw the layout of the beast prison. In front was a corridor, and at the deepest end of the corridor were huge arenas. The smell of blood grew stronger, and the roars grew clearer. Pairs of blood-red eyes stared at them from all around. Those were fierce beasts at least second rank. Haha, this is the first time I have been stared at by so many beasts. A student laughed nervously, trying to ease the tension. Yeah, it does not feel that bad. Another student also spoke, but only a few meters away from him. A second-rank beast seemed to understand his words and roared directly at him. Holy crap, all of you shut up. Cao Wuda finally could not stand the noise behind him and shouted loudly. Seeing the scene quiet down, he led them to the arenas. A full 100 arenas, 1 per person. All of you get up there. Cao Wood waved his hand and herded everyone up, then took out his phone and operated it. Soon over 100 silver-white mechanical arms extended from the ceiling and grabbed beasts, preparing to place them into the arenas. No matter what material the mechanical arms were made of, the beasts struggled desperately, and their claws and teeth that could tear through steel did not leave a mark on them. Bang bang. Damn, what is this thing? Where did this huge turtle come from? A second-rank giant strength ant. Damn, this thing has a tough shell. Chief Instructor really thinks too highly of me. Are all your beasts this strong? Why did I get a firefox? It is only the size of a palm, so weak. The beast distribution was random, so it all depended on luck. When the mechanical arms released the beasts, and they crashed down in front of each student, they could not help but exclaim. And looking at the beast placed before him, Jung Hee, who had been full of anticipation, suddenly had a change in expression. Not because of fear, but simply because of disgust. Name: White Liquid Venom, Ant State Growth. Rank: Second Rank, Combat Power 4100. The White Liquid Venom Ant was a beast that made one shudder, with sticky white venom flowing all over its body, leaving white trails with every step. If that was all, it would be fine. But the key point was that it smelled like stinking flowers. Ugh, damn Jung, he retched, and could not help but curse. The moment the White Liquid Venom Ant was about to land, he drew his blade and charged directly. A flash of blade light cut through the air with a piercing screech, aiming directly through the lower jaw, so that before the beast even landed, it lost its life in an instant. Killed second-rank beast, White Liquid Venom Ant. Obtained attribute points 10. Attribute points secured. Seizing the moment, Jung Hee kicked, and sent the corpse flying off the arena. So strong. Finished the fight so quickly. I need to hurry too. This Jung Hee is truly formidable. Most of the students on the arenas were frantically dealing with the beasts before them, while a small number of students could still pay attention to their surroundings while fighting. After hearing the burst of sound, their gazes all turned to Jung Hee, who had already finished the fight in an instant the moment the beast landed. A roar sounded. Li Tianyu exerted his strength. Before him was a double-blade mantis, its two limbs like the hardest steel, flashing cold light as they slashed toward his head. Li Tianyu had no weapon, or rather his hands were his weapons. His hands extended and two lion heads, made of vitality, materialized. Opening and closing his palms was like a lion's roar. Major accomplishment, third rank Furious Lion Fist. Die. Li Tianyu threw both fists, meeting the double-blade mantis's blades. In a powerful clash, the blades only held for a few seconds. Before breaking in two, the mantis's head was smashed to pieces, and a large amount of blood flowed out. Jung Hee watched Li Tianyu finish his fight, and looked away. Turning his gaze elsewhere, Lu Yuyu was fighting a python, with a wave of her hand condensing numerous wind blades, with the power of a third-rank martial art, hacking the python into several pieces. In front of Feng Yi was a horned giant wolf. He held a spear and circled it, and seizing the moment pierced the wolf's skull with one thrust. Then there were the others. Hidong was wrestling with a mutant rhino, one with a strength talent, the other a beast good at power. Shu Jingjin, Zhao Jiangguo, Chen Yongkai, Song Chang, Zhang Duoming. After observing everyone once, Jung Hee finally turned his attention to himself. Killing one white liquid venom ant gave only 10 attribute points. Seeing the system prompt, Jung Hee frowned. Previously killing a cold bone bear with 4,000 combat power gave 20 attribute points. Now killing a white liquid venom ant with 4,100 combat power gave only 10 points. So it was obvious Jung Hee had already understood. As his strength continued to improve, the attribute points gained from killing beasts of the same strength kept decreasing. Recalling his experience hunting red-tailed giant monkeys, killing a first-rank beast gave at least 1 point. Killing a second-rank beast gave at least 10 points. So for third rank, it would be 100 points. Jung Hee let out a breath. Next, he would choose to fight a third-rank beast. Time passed, and the beasts on the arenas were gradually killed by the students. The students had more or less suffered injuries, but tonight's training was not over yet. They had to kill another second-rank beast. Cao Wood sent people onto the arenas to drag away the beast corpses and prepare for the second round. Just as everyone was on high alert, a voice broke the silence. Chief Instructor, I request a third-rank beast. Those words exploded like thunder. Everyone looked in shock at the source of the voice, only to see a handsome youth holding a long blade. Everyone was first stunned, then understood. After all, that was Jung Hee. His request for a third-rank beast was unexpected yet reasonable. This was a fierce person who could enter the 9 times gravity chamber and above. Apparently a third-rank martial artist with combat power exceeding 10,000. Soon I will also be able to request a third-rank beast. Li Tianyu secretly resolved. Although he also wanted to apply right now, he knew he was no match. This thought was not limited to him. Others also cast fighting glances at him. But Jung Hee did not care at all. He looked at Cao Wood. All right. Cao Wood nodded and approved the request, with a look of appreciation in his eyes. Then he tapped the screen, and personally selected a third-rank beast for him. The beast prison was said to have thousands of beasts, but most were second rank, with only a few 200 third-rank beasts. Soon a new round of battles began. Over 100 mechanical arms extended again, and grabbed another 100 beasts for entry. This time, what appeared before Jung Hee was a huge crimson scorpion, with a body and tail over 7 meters long, 2 pincers, and a barbed stinger with spots of dark green, clearly venomous. This was a third-rank beast, the Stinger Red Scorpion. Name Stinger Red Scorpion, state Peak. Rank third rank, combat power 28900. Phew. Jung Hee took a deep breath and gripped his blade. This beast's combat power was not far from his. This time he would have to be more serious. Hurried footsteps echoed in the corridor. Kong Quan quickly walked into the beast prison and came to Cao Wood's side. Xiao Quan, why are you here? Commander Cao Jiang, he requested a third-rank beast. As the chief director, how could I not come to watch? Kong Quan replied, then looked across dozens of arenas and focused on Jung Hee, who was mid-battle. That is a Stinger Red Scorpion. Can this child Jung Hee defeat it? Seeing Jung Hee's opponent was the third-rank Stinger Red Scorpion, Kong Quan raised doubts. Do not worry, Cao Wood said. I personally selected this Stinger Red Scorpion, with combat power only slightly weaker than Jung Hee's. As long as Jung Hee performs normally, there will be no problem. Good. With a bang on the arena, the mechanical arm released the Stinger Red Scorpion, and the battle began the moment it landed. The huge scorpion tail whipped like a long whip, sending layers of airwaves, and struck fiercely at Jung Hee, while the 2 huge pincers kept opening and closing and falling, making piercing sounds. But slow, too slow, Jung Hee said to himself. Under the terrifying dynamic vision of Eyes 10,